Hey,
Ho, ho, ho!
welcome everybody.
Ho,
Thank you for.
ho!
Oh, I put that
Ho,
on
ho,
repeat.
ho!
God dang it!
Ho, ho, ho!
Stop it. Anyway, welcome to Cinema Gulp, everybody. This is 2 nights before Christmas. John's idea. John's busy because he's putting together something special, and I can't wait to hear it. And I'm sure you guys can't either. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I want to thank people on the Christmas Eve for joining us this evening. Much appreciated. It's kind of like a last minute thing. We just thought about it a couple of days ago and said, you know what, let's make one more video to end 2024 on a high note of action, violent Christmas movies. And I think we got a doozy with two really good ones. One, sort of an older, under the radar, flopped when it came out. It's an infamous script that went for, I think, $3 million, and it made Shane Black not want to work for a few years. I don't blame him. And then another one's a new one from 2 years ago, Violent Night, which I think is definitely, from people that I know, the people that I hang out with, the circles and movies that we all enjoy together, a lot of people really like it. It's not a perfect movie. It's got pacing problems, but damn, it's a fun ride. It's a fun ride.
Ho, ho, ho!
Okay, I got it without any trouble on that one. Again, I want to thank people for joining, and I think John's ready to say hi to the.
Hey, Merry Christmas out there, everybody.
Yeah,
you all hear me, I guess. All right.
You sound great. You sound great.
Okay, so yes, welcome to 2 nights before Christmas, because we are talking about 2 movies with night in the title that are Christmas movies.
It took me a second with
on that.
John. It took me a second with your quotes on there. I was like, "What's he mean?" Oh, that's right. They both have nights.
Violent Night and The Long Kiss Goodnight. 2 nights.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And today is 2 nights before Christmas, Monday night. So
Monday Night Raw, Monday Night Football, Monday Night Golf.
What I was wasting everyone's time while Ben was doing a wonderful intro, working on was a poem, a Christmas poem for all of you out there. What a present. I'm sure you were all just eagerly awaiting what this was going to be. Okay. So
wait, so we're getting it right now?
Yeah, this is the poem. This is our
give you some sort of a drum roll. Hang on. Let's see. What do I got?
You!
Oh, okay. That's the best I can do. there you go.
You're all going to say to this poem. I wrote it 3 minutes ago. I have not even read what I really wrote. I don't know if this is going to rhyme the way it's supposed to. Here we go. Okay. You've all heard of 'Twas the Night Before Christmas. Well, we've got 2 nights before Christmas coming at you. 2 nights before Christmas, when all through the house, 2 critics were critiquing 2 terrorist bouts. The heroes are courageous and tough as nails. The villains are pansies. Hans Gruber, they do not compare. So we exclaim with a frosty, lofty flight, Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good fight.
Yeah, I'm glad you used fight. Well done.
Ho, ho, ho!
Honestly, John, for 3 to 4 minutes, that's pretty damn good. Cheers to you, sir. Cheers to you.
I'm hoping the Hans Gruber line worked.
That was one of the best parts. There was only one.
The heroes are courageous and tough as nails. The villains are pansies. Hans Gruber, they do not compare.
That was the one where I was like, yeah, a little like,
Okay.
But dude, some of the best poems in the world don't always rhyme for every verse, So I thought it was great. There we
go.
Well, now we can officially do another welcome, which we've already done. But thanks, people, for being here. Happy holidays to all the cinema drunks out there. I know we did our Hump Day Happy Hour on Wednesday, which was a blast. But John and I wanted to do something together. And honestly, we didn't get a chance to do a holiday mixer this year, nor last year. So it's been one of these things.
Well, we did our Halloween one, but yeah.
No, we did our Halloween one, but I mean, like the holiday, the Halloween.
Yeah, Ben, I think we've realized that Christmas now is more relegated to us getting to talk about a particular movie, maybe an anniversary movie or something like that, versus our full-on extravaganza that we used to do with the puppets coming out and all the fun that we used to have when we could be right there behind everyone in the Cinema Gulp studios filming for a whole day. We'll get back to that, but once I had James, it was hard for us to get together.
And they, the amount of work we put in, specifically in the 2018 one, where it was like a variety show where we had like puppets doing songs that we wrote and gingerbread house exhibits where we smash it. Like, it was so much work, and they just didn't really get those views, so it's kind of it's one of those things, but there's still so much fun to do. They're fun just to be there and watch movies with you and eat food and drink beer and stuff. So, but today, and thank you everybody for joining. Appreciate it. There's 7 people on. I love you, and happy holidays to everyone here. Please chime in. If the thumbnail is what got you here, these are 2 really fun movies, and I hadn't seen A Long Kiss Goodnight in probably 20 years. And I watched it last night, and it's so over the top, and it's so much fun. It's such a 90s movie, it's such a 90s Shane Black action movie. Samuel Jackson, right at that moment, like after Pulp Fiction, after Die Hard with a Vengeance, just about to become the leading man scene stealer guy. But and Gina Davis, this is one of her last films before she sort of you know what I should do real quick, because I didn't know that this was like one of her last films before she decided to kind of maybe
became an archer.
Yeah, and then I don't know what she did, but she eventually went to TV. But dude, if they had made a franchise, they couldn't make a franchise out of this, and we'll get to why. It bombed pretty much. But I want to say hi to Stark of Iron. When I saw Violet Night, it was a breath of fresh air. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. But John, do you have anything you want to bring up before we get into these 2 films? Because I definitely want to go with Long Kiss Goodnight first, because it's fresh on my mind.
Sure.
I saw Violet Night in 2022 3 times. And then I watched it last year once. So I thought I saw it 5 times, but I guess I saw it 4. I've not yet revisited it this year just because life, but I know it well because I've seen it so many times now. So it's basically Die Hard if John McClane was Santa Claus, pretty much. But yeah, let's transition into Long Kiss Goodnight, which let's see.
Now you're going on Santa's list and you're getting nothing.
Fuck you, Santa.
All right, so Rennie Harlan. Let's go, John. Do you have a description you want to give out? Do you want me to bring you large, or are you cool just staying like this?
No, we're cool. No, I mean, I have a couple little notes that I took, but no, I don't have any kind of format to how I want to approach it.
Cool.
I do. It's funny you said, too bad this didn't become a franchise, or I wish it had been a franchise, whatever it was you were saying. And I was trying to picture that. It's like, yes, her character. I love her character. It's so awesome. I certainly would, both of them really. I would have loved to see more with them. But I think the draw of this movie is the very particular plot about her amnesia and her memory coming back, and how that works, and how it unfolds throughout the story. So a sequel where she already knows all this, or
you're absolutely right. Yeah.
Come up with like halfway through, she loses her memory again, and it's something to do with that. Like, I don't know. It just would not, I don't think it would have the same magic that I think.
No. And you know what? I stopped myself in my tracks, because you're absolutely right. Because so many like gimmick movies that are just a one-off movie, a lot of horror movies specifically, and then they make a lot of money, so they greenlight a second one, and it just doesn't, like The Ring 2. It doesn't make sense because they beat the cycle of the thing. So they have to create this whole new scenario, and then it doesn't feel like it's even the same thing. So you're right. Like this one, Gina Davis, she just called back into action. Well, that's not fun because she doesn't have the dual personalities, so.
And they even end it with her saying, "No, I'm not coming back," or whatever. And
right.
That money always changes things, I'm sure.
For sure.
Say that line, but no, I'm happy that it exists. It's just a one-time awesome kick-ass 90s action movie.
I thought I would bring it up here on the side without any volume, just so we can see
sure, it
in all its glory. But so this movie, you want to bring up like kind of the setup, the opening.
Sure. Especially, well, if you've never seen it, go check it out. Maybe turn off this video and come back and watch our video later, because this is
we're
pretty
gonna
awesome
spoil the shit out of it. Yeah,
we're gonna spoil it. It's a great 90s action movie, and it does have some interesting. I think that the way the movie plays, like the trailer is going to give away the gimmick of the movie. But if you watch the movie without knowing anything, it does a pretty good job of unfolding the story and letting you go on the ride of this person who has amnesia and doesn't fully know all the details that are coming back to her.
Really quickly. I hate to stop you, John, but we just got a super chat.
Nice. Long Kiss Goodnight. Yeah, saw Long Kiss Goodnight.
No, but we got to read the super chat because they just paid us, so we got to read it. Do you want to read that one, John? And thank you very much, sir.
From RRTNZ. Saw Long Kiss Goodnight when it came out. Always been a favorite of mine. Samuel L. Jackson has said it's his favorite role, and their chemistry was great. I agree with that. Their chemistry is awesome, and it is kind of, he's got a lot of great roles. Dude, I'd have to really think about what my favorite is of his, but it's up there. It's really awesome. I love his character, like the little things that they give him, like his singing to himself to remember things, and that actually plays into the plot occasionally. I think Shane Black has always been pretty good with plant and payoff, which is really important. To make.
He's not just dialogue. He knows how to flow and just keep a story together. But RRTNZ, thank you so much. Thank you. That means a lot. Thank you. It's wonderful. Wonderful news. Merry Christmas to us.
Yeah, that is one of Samuel Jackson's best characters. The way he's dressed. There's still a lot of heart behind his story with his kid and why he's doing all this. And the many times that he has a chance to back out, or even basically left laying in the middle of the street by her and dispatched, and he still gets back involved all the way to the very end. So I love his character.
It's a duck, not a dick.
That even that moment, like little drawings that just come into play. Like
I love that scene. It's like, because it's so random. But no, Rennie Harlan, I think it's Harlan, but I was going to bring up a point that when I watched this movie, I forgot how good Shane Black specifically, like, builds character. When you meet Samuel L. Jackson, you get these, you're shown, and told a little bit that, like, he can't see his kid, and you're like, oh, okay. Speaking of kids, who's this kid?
Ho, ho, ho!
Hey,
Merry Christmas!
Ho, ho, ho!
Hey, buddy.
Want to say hi? It's Uncle Ben. He's really tiny in the picture there. There he is. Hey, Merry Christmas. Okay.
I love the antlers,
Come back
man.
when you want, buddy. Come back when you want. Close the door on the way out.
But I just thought he had great subtle character builds all throughout the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, and obviously we'll spoil this a lot. I'm sure you probably know, but I just found out doing some research on this today about the fate of his character originally.
Yeah, I had heard that originally, and I guess it was like maybe a test audience or something.
Test audience was like, no.
Yeah. And you could see that, although when watching it and knowing that, they had originally planned for him to die, I was wondering if it was kind of the way that he was going out, or the way you think he's going out in this version, or would there be a bigger, more grand death that he had? Because he kind of gets shot trying to save the girl a number of times, and he just kind of slumps down by the truck. Now that's probably a reshoot to set up the moment where he gets in the truck and comes out and saves the day and all that. But so maybe it was a more grand death. Maybe I don't know, that he definitely didn't die when he gets blown all the way out of the motel through the motel sign, which is one of the best.
Oh, that scene is great. Yeah. That's great. There's a lot of explosions in this movie that don't make sense. Grenades that cause entire, like, waves of fire, but it's over the top fun. Yeah.
Actually, that's a little thing I have, a little segment I want to go over of, like, things that kind of don't make sense, but they pay off in just fun ways.
Well, I apologize. You get back into the setup, because
just the setup real quick, because we
didn't
quite get that
front and center right there. So
the basic setup is that this the school teacher, Gina Davis, is a school teacher in somewhere in the Northeast area, New York or something like that. And then she gets spotted by somebody in prison who swears that she is somebody he knows that he killed before, and shows up on her doorstep, attacks her, and she is able to kill him with assassin-like precision out of nowhere.
Well, before that, how great is the reveal when she's cutting the vegetables and then she chucks the knife at the tomato that she threw, like, and her husband's like, "What the fuck?"
Oh, well, I guess she's already had the accident. That's right. The accident already happened.
And then the guy on TV, or the guy in jail, like, notices her on the TV.
But the big reveal is that Gina Davis lost her memory. Someone tried to kill her, and she was left for dead, and she assumed the identity of basically who she was pretending to be before she was killed, or before the person tried to kill her. And so slowly this identity, it's like the Bourne Identity, basically, very much like the Bourne Identity, long before that was a movie. I know the book series existed, so this could have borrowed from that in terms of the memory loss and the amnesia. But it works really well in this movie, maybe even better than Bourne, in my opinion, of how the memories come back and how they're utilized, and how she the two different personalities that are there. Bourne isn't so much about him having two personalities, but this one goes in that direction.
Housewife is named Samantha, right?
Yes.
And then Charlie is the killer, is the assassin. Yeah. Which makes sense.
I think our super chat was saying how this is one of Samuel L's best performances or best characters. And I kind of agree with that with Gina as well. I think it's one of her coolest characters. This hero, Charlie, that version of her is so badass. I like both versions of her, but Charlie is so awesome. And I love early on when the car accident happens. All the action in this movie is done really well. I think this is one of Rennie Harlin's best in terms of direction for his actions.
Totally agree. Yeah.
But when the car accident happens, I love watching her in this daze. We, or at least somebody like myself who's seen this movie many times, are very familiar with what's happening in that moment in her head. But the way that, like, she's in this daze and doesn't really know what's going on, but her body just kind of goes in this kind of autopilot mode. She walks through the snow without feeling it. She walks right through the cold water. There's no hesitation. There's no feeling of that. And then goes over and kills the deer that's in distress.
Yeah.
And
just snaps
its neck with one swift move. Like, that just sets her up as a badass before you even see her do any of the things that she's able to, like when she's taking out terror.
And remember when she scares her daughter, because her daughter clearly, like, broke or fractured something, her arm, because you can hear it.
She's a weakling.
But that's so great, because you can tell you're learning, like, she wasn't like a hero, she was just a badass, because when those little moments come back to her, she's super hardcore.
As much as I do think that this is one of Rennie Harlin's best directed movies, I would say, to some degree, and one of my favorites of his, I don't really like the way that he depicts all the dream sequence stuff. I mean, I get it; it's there to really set it apart that this is
kind of cheesy. It's kind of cheesy.
It feels very much like he's like pulling from the Dream Master, and like it's all of his other movies. I wouldn't say they're totally grounded movies, but they do take place in real world settings. Like Dream Master is one of the few that has kind of the fantasy element, and it stands out in this movie. I definitely prefer, all the stuff that stays grounded in the real world in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I guess back then, and maybe the editor could have maybe the editor could have changed it a little bit and made it less hokey, but yeah, like, especially the stuff, that sequence in the mirror where she's looking at herself as Sam, and then she ducks down, and then it's Charlie, and then Charlie, like, slits her throat or whatever.
Yeah. That's just kind of cheesy, but
MZ says this movie is proof that audiences will suspend disbelief about explosions as long as the characters are believable and likable. No, I know. I was just nitpicking, because that grenade that blows up just goes a very long way.
Honestly, Ben, I was kind of interested to see if you got to rewatch it, your thoughts on that scene, because as I was rewatching it, I was like, I had never really paid that close attention. I'm sure I'd seen it many times before, but I never paid that close attention to seeing her notice the sign before going inside that says thin ice. And I'm like, oh, they again, plant and payoff. I mean,
Yeah.
some people, anytime you show something like that, it's like very obvious if they're giving you that kind of shot that it's like, this is going to come up later, but you don't always remember it as an audience. Enough time goes by and you're not thinking about that they set you up with that. So some are done really well where you would never even think it's a setup shot. That one clearly was, but it was like, oh, I had never really paid attention to how much of a setup that is for the fact that she knew that she could do this trick of jumping out the window and shooting the ice and going through it. Again, that's like in my list of things that are ridiculous, but pay off in fun ways. But I was wondering your thoughts on that scene of her falling out the window. I never really liked how it looks. It's clear they're on those descending lines in certain shots.
Oh yeah.
They're not moving at the right speed, but it's got so many cuts from an editing standpoint. It is edited all over the place. Them going out the window and falling and shots of the ice and under the ice and them impacting, and it's going in all these different directions. And so, and like movies like Taken or whatever that have just overused the editing to the point where you don't even know, like you care less about this being exciting anymore. It's
Bourne
just like,
movies do that too.
And Bourne movies as well. I was like impressed with it was like messy as all hell, and there's shots that don't look right, but there's just the right amount of shots to make it work in this like over the top way and still make it not believable, but believable for the sake of this movie, like in the universe that they're making this all take place in.
When an editor sits and looks at the footage and all the clips put together, specifically in like an action stunt sequence. So he's got, 4 different cameras, all these different shots, the establishing, the close-ups, all that stuff. My guess would be that like if the stunt just they couldn't pull the stunt off in the establishing shot, they moved to close-ups, and the editor's good enough to be able to tell you what's happening with lots of different cuts, as long as it doesn't like blow your head off. I think that's one of those cases where it's like, yeah, the stunt's there, it works, but it doesn't look real enough. So let's move in closer, do close cuts.
But they do a good job of like the ridiculous fireball that's coming down the hallway looks stupid as hell, but they still get the right.
It's fun though, yeah.
But they still like incorporate it well as they come out the window and it comes flying out behind them and they're like falling. Like there's just the right amount of shots, the right amount of angles to make that very unbelievable. Like I've always been a fan of Temple of Doom and watching them fall on the raft. It looks like it works. The way they shot it, it looks like it works.
It looks like it's floating down, and then it lands at an angle.
It lands soft enough. The right shots with the right imagery is all I need. I don't care about the actual physics that are required for that to be accomplished. And I know
it's no Jeep like doing a belly flop off of a tree branch.
No, that's they went too far with that. But like I'm aware of how ridiculous that is, and that people hate that moments like that for those reasons. But if it looks right in the movie, I'm very accepting.
This guy's a big Shane Black fan. You could tell. Could you read that one there, John?
Back then, Shane Black was good at setup and payoff, like the remodeling of Roger's house in Lethal Weapon, requiring a high-powered nail gun. Yes,
that's a great 100%. Point. Well, he wrote part 2 because that was in part 2. I can't remember if he wrote part 2 or not.
Well, his house, he wrote part 1 where the house gets destroyed. So he did set up the reason for remodeling.
Yeah. Well, refresh my memory. There's a great plant and payoff in The Nice Guys with like that. I think it's like with the film canister or something. I can't remember. I need to see that movie again. Because a lot of people love that movie and I liked it. I think you loved it. I think
I did. Well, yeah, I did.
I need to watch it again. But it's not a Christmas movie. It's only Christmas and the very, very end. But people go, "Oh, it's a Christmas movie." No, it's not.
But like in this one, I mean, there's all kinds of plant and payoff all throughout. But like very specifically, 2 that revolve around like the gun situation is the fact that Samuel sings about where he put stuff. That's when he sings while they're getting ready to go in. I'm putting the gun in my left pocket.
Yeah, he's just
that gives her
he's
the
just
ability
talking what he's
to
doing.
go for it immediately and get the drop on the guy that was walking up on them. Again, like he probably would have been able, like they're just happily looking at them. He probably would have pulled his gun and shot them or whatever. But you know, we need the heroes to survive. So she's able to get to his gun because of that moment of plan and payoff. It just works so much better. It's like they did just enough to make me believe the fucking raft can fall out of the sky and land perfectly.
Are we about to see the grenade scene? That's it right
It
there.
takes that long to go off. Oh my gosh. Geez.
There it is. There's that. Dude,
Yeah.
grenades they don't make fire.
No.
They do not make fire. But whatever, you know, like our super chat said, suspension of disbelief. I get it.
Well, and there's a grenade scene in the next movie too we can talk about too. Oh, there it is.
Yes, yeah. Oh yeah, there's
the right shot, just the right amount of shots. But another one that's done really well is like it's just supposed to be wonderful, quick dialogue while people are in a car, and it's very believable. You have Brian Cox's character pull his gun and pull his hip holster gun or whatever, and he's like, "Damn man, how many of those you got?" And he very quickly rattles off, "I got blah 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 blah," and one in the crotch because they never check there.
Because they never
off later in the film like that. Not that it's genius, it's just you got to put in that kind of work for it.
No, it's great. That I was going to bring that scene up too. And can we talk about Brian Cox for a second? So why do they beat him up and leave him? Like they think he's bad, but he never does anything bad.
Well, yeah, I don't. Again, like when we can get to the list of things that don't add up but still add up for fun, like that's on there too. I don't get why it doesn't work for me. I guess we can go over some of that, but
okay. Screenplay by Jeff Baum, story by Shane Black. Okay, so Shane. Okay, gotcha. Last Boy Scout.
Jeff Baum, the guy that did worked on some of now I'm blanking on her name. Your favorite director,
Catherine Bigelow.
Yeah, didn't they work together on some things like Zero Dark 30 or something like that?
Maybe
did he help write that.
Possibly. Like I haven't. Yeah, I'm not right. I haven't paid a lot of attention to a lot of the screenwriters of her work. But I should. Yeah, Last Boy Scout. Have to worry about
screenwriters for James Cameron because it's just him.
I like Last Boy Scout as a Christmas movie because little Danielle Harris as the daughter draws Satan claws, which is hilarious.
Played by Jack Black.
Oh God, don't get me started.
Has Shane Black, well, written and directed, I guess, has he made a movie other than, I guess, Predator? Because
The Predator.
No, well, The Predator, he did make a Christmas movie. What I'm wondering is, have any of his scripts or directed films not featured Christmas? And I want to say, if he worked on Predator, that is not Christmas. But all the others, I think, have that like. Christmas is there, even if it's in California, you don't really know what's going on at Christmas time. Like it's in all of them, I want to say.
Well, he did a rewrite on Predator, and was in it, obviously.
But he's not the original screenwriter of Predator.
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
No.
So yeah, I think all of like his main credited scripts and or directing films.
Was it Christmas time in The Predator?
Yeah.
That movie's so forgettable. I don't even know.
Isn't the kid like he's got Christmas lights all over his little den where he's
I don't know.
I think it is.
I blocked that movie out of my mind.
But it's like the Nice Guys. You barely know it's Christmas, but a couple times they're like in a bar and there's a Christmas tree in the background. That's all it really is.
For sure. I mean, obviously Lethal Weapon probably this one and Lethal Weapon are his most Christmas movies, but Christmas is part, like, someone's trying to tell me like Lethal Weapon's not much of a Christmas movie. I go, dude, the first time you see Riggs, he has a shootout in a Christmas tree lot. Like it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah,
for sure.
But I also think Die Hard is just as much a Christmas movie.
Oh, sure. No, and I wasn't arguing that wasn't. I was just saying Lethal Weapon. Also.
No, but you did have a poll asking which one was more of a Christmas movie.
Right. Well, Die Hard kicked Lethal Weapon's ass in that poll. Speaking of polls, let's see what we got here. Let's see if we should. I'll leave it going for a little bit because it's only got 7 votes. But of these 2 films, which is your favorite for Christmas? Long Kiss Goodnight. Oh wow, I'm shocked. Long Kiss Goodnight at 43%, Violent Night at 57%. Though there's not many votes yet, so we'll get into that. But
Oh, okay. I was like, I don't see the poll.
oh, it's on. It's on. You got to go to the Cinema Gulp YouTube page and see the chat flowing.
Well, I've had more time to appreciate Long Kiss Goodnight, so I would pick that as my favorite between the two. But I would say Violent Night is the more Christmas centric film.
Well, yeah, it's about Santa Claus.
Yeah.
It's hardly fair. Yeah.
Samuel needs a beard and a hat.
Yeah. Well, that's why I didn't put what's more Christmassy. That's not fair. I just put what's your favorite of them.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go with Long Kiss Goodnight.
Well, Violent Night is very new still. You know.
Yes, and it's moving up the ranks.
Yeah, we'll see.
I do want to talk about where it stands with Christmas.
They could definitely make another one of those because actually, right now, I want to. Well, no, we'll get into that. We're not even talking about that movie yet. But really quickly, John, the budget of Long Kiss Goodnight, $65 million in 1996, was it?
No, well, the film came out in 97. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
No,
you're
October
right.
of 96.
I'm sorry, 96. I'm sorry, yeah. 96.
$65 million budget. It made $33 million in the States and a grand total of 89 million. So at least it made more than it cost, but you and I both know that's
not the way Hollywood works.
It's not very good. Yeah, it's not very good. But it definitely gained a lot of, box office, unfortunately, doesn't account for VHS sales, DVD sales. Those things are probably through the roof. And that's where so many of those movies make their money back, is that second life that they no longer have, which is a shame. Matt Damon put it best. Yeah, but.
Yeah, I think it was popular on video. I seem to remember. I mean, I know I caught it in the theater, but still, I was a Redding Harlan fan, so I was pretty excited to see this when it came out.
Well, you liked, you love Die Hard too.
I do love Die Hard
movie that he did. Yeah.
Well, and I was thinking about it. It's like when you think of really great action movies set in the snow, he's got 3 of them. He's kind of the king of that.
Wait, let me guess the other one. So there's this one, Die Hard 2, Rennie Harlem. What else did he do in the snow?
The most snowy of them all, set on a mountain.
Oh, Cliffhanger. Yeah. Which might be my favorite movie of his.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cliffhanger's great. There's actually a couple of people from Cliffhanger that are in this movie too. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like the guy that they
Travis
cheating at the beginning. Yeah.
So
I did want to bring up that scene. So his assistant, who actually seems to care about the work that they do and in helping people, she's actually genuinely cares about trying to help out Amnesia Lady when they can. Yes, she wants to make money like they both do, but she's willing to get fucked until he's able to jump in the room. It seems like basically she does get plowed by these guys in their whole setup, and she's kind of cool with it. She's just over there counting the money, taking off her fake nose ring, being like, "Yeah, you can't keep using the bums, man. It's like, well, you're using my pussy too."
Yeah. Well, Shane Black loves using that word in its full context. Yeah.
I thought her character, for as little screen time as she has, they actually kind of flesh out her character a little bit. She seems like a real person, not a real person, but a person within this movie. There's a couple characters I don't really like in this movie, but I think they do a good job with every character, even the minor ones, her husband and Samuel's assistant, even though they're barely in it.
David Morse was wasted, I thought, because he was kind of the best of the villain characters, and he should have
been the main. He should have been okay. So I didn't even remember this till watching it again yesterday. That the Craig, what is the actor's name? Craig, but whatever the bad guy is, the one that makes it to the end. His name is Timothy.
Timothy's his character's name.
Yeah, his character name, Timothy. That just seems like such a
Craig Burko. Yeah.
It seems so obvious that Shane Black is well, let me try to create another Joshua character. He's such a ripoff of Joshua from Lethal Weapon.
Only he's Gary not Busey because character. He's not Gary.
But he's terrible. He's terrible. But it just seems like, because that's I don't know. That's just how that he was set up. He was always called Mr. Joshua or whatever they called him. But when I heard this guy being called Timothy, I was like,
Yeah.
That seems a
That's the
little
thing.
like you're going for the same thing. and it's
I
not
don't
working.
like there's a mysterious villain character in this movie who I guess is bad and kind of calls the orders. And then there's like the two lughead villains, but I like the David Morse, like, you know, obviously the awesome water torture with I mean, that scene's so great. And I guess Gina Davis wanted to do all of it. So hats off to her for like doing that whole, like they didn't have to do any body doubles or anything. She's under the water and like,
Oh wow.
that scene. But I mean, we'll get into that scene, but I just, yeah. And then soon after, David Morris is gone from the story, which is kind of a bummer, but
Yeah, no, that's just the nature of the way that scene unfolds and everything.
and I guess it's a nice subversion. Like you think he's going to be a bigger deal, and then
Yeah.
yeah. So maybe that's what it was.
But I think if they had switched the roles, the other guy's kind of younger and doesn't seem like he should be the one that's in charge.
Right.
But I would have much rather seen him be in just a couple scenes and get dispatched and keep David Morris around for all the other stuff that we needed. Because the two characters that I really don't like in the movie are the Timothy guy, Craig, whatever, just way too over the top and ridiculous. And then the daughter,
yeah, I didn't want them to bring the daughter back into it, but I guess it's inevitable.
I kind of get why they need her around for certain motivations and things like that to keep the story going, but saving the day is sometimes all the motivation you need.
Well, you know what it probably is it's that Charlie was like balls to the wall. It's kind of like how The Bride turned, like how Beatrix Kiddo turned out, where like cold-blooded killer, didn't care who she killed, and then she had a kid. And then like there's a difference there. So maybe it was like, well, we're getting so far into this movie. Are we going to have Gina Davis's character just be, she's trying to save herself. She's a cold-blooded murderer. And then it's like, well, no, like now she has a daughter, even though that, don't get me started on how that makes any sense. How like, she washed up, or she wakes up and.
Well, she said she was 2 months pregnant. So there's a lot of time for her to recuperate.
There's a thing where one of the guys, was it Timothy? That was probably the father.
Yeah, that's what's implied.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I liked all the side characters, especially like Brian Cox and stuff. The husband reminds me of like an American Jonathan Pryce. It looks like Jonathan Pryce, but
he's such a pussy. But
yeah,
I get it.
But that's the role he's supposed to play.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
A perfect match for her Samantha side. And obviously a complete unmatched with Charlie. Although they're together at the end. So
yeah.
And then the chef scene. The chefs do that scene is pretty damn awesome. I love the music in that scene is like feels like a 90s like talk show intro or something, like welcome to Today in LA. I don't know. It's like so upbeat and cheesy, and then finished with the punctuation of right through the tomato. Chefs do that. That's great stuff.
And then of course the ending shot where they're on the beach. She
throws
the knife at that bird or whatever.
Cricket.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Silences the crickets. Yeah.
I wish the movie would have ended on a Christmas note, but I get it. They had to transition time a little bit to show like what happened with Samuel Jackson, and which was a pretty funny. I like the way his character. The fact that he was supposed to die makes no sense to me because it's a buddy cop movie, basically.
Yeah,
that's just kind of weird.
It totally is. That's what we're like. Someone said Samuel thought they had great chemistry. That's what makes this movie work is their chemistry and the fact that it does have that buddy cop feel and buddy cop element. Most of Shane Black's best scripts are that same story, Lethal Weapon and Last Boy Scout. They all have the buddy cop element. So
you can't kill one of the two when they're not even together in the same scene,
Yeah.
But okay, I think we've seen enough of this. Boink.
So what was up with that shotgun that the bald dude uses that comes in?
Apparently it's a shotgun with a
A
bazooka
rocket launcher.
yeah. Oh, dude, which is the funniest scene in the movie when they blow the hole through at the staircase and she takes her daughter.
Tosses her daughter through right into the treehouse.
Thank God that
Again.
treehouse was there.
Like, so much stuff in this movie is over the top and ridiculous. And I often hate that kind of stuff, but it works in this movie. It works with these characters.
No, it does. I think out of all of Shane Black's scripts, this movie and The Last Boy Scout have the most in common with like how ridiculous the action is. And the story has this simplicity to it, but it's also convoluted, but it's easy to follow.
Yeah.
But like some of the action, you're like, how does this make, like when the car like lands in the pool in The Last Boy Scout, you're like, okay, I get that. That's a cool action stunt, Tony Scott, but it doesn't make any sense at all. So, but yeah. I'll get it one of these.
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
The movie really kicks in when they head off on their road trip, when you really do start getting the chemistry building.
Yeah, yeah.
The comedy between the two of them is excellent. And then when you add in Brian Cox and you have the three of them together, I know it's short-lived that you get Brian Cox in this movie. I seem to remember him being in it more when I rewatched it yesterday or the other. Yeah, I guess it was yesterday. It was like, oh man, he's out of this movie pretty quick, which sucks because he's hilarious. That whole intro with like, is that his wife or his mother? I'm not sure.
I don't know. Yeah.
I think it's his wife, and her dog has been licking its ass for over an hour.
Oh, that scene, dude. I love that line. He's like, what's wrong with the dog? Well, he's been licking his ass for the past 3 or 4 hours. That's great.
There's great comedy all throughout.
Well, dude, speaking of ass dialogue, like the Samuel L. Jackson, just straight out of Pulp Fiction type of dialogue, where he's just like, and then when we get you to jail, I'm gonna pay a guy to ass fuck you, like, and that joke just goes on and on.
Yeah,
and Samuel L. Jackson is just putting on a front though, because he's kind of a pussy. Like he's like a private eye. But he's got some kind of sting operation going on with like these clowns or whatever. But once the action starts to hit, he has no idea what to do. But yeah, but he obviously comes through for sure.
You can tell that right off the bat.
Yeah, and it's great. It's good character for him. It's not Zeus, but it's a little Zeus, where it's like he's the sidekick to the action. And oh man, when she shows him her boobs.
Oh yeah.
Priceless facial expression.
What is it? She tells him about like the concept of biting a virgin's ear to make her not know about the pain or something. And he's like, I usually just sock him in the jaw and say, "Pop goes the weasel" or something like that.
You can't yell at a girl, go woo-hoo out the window. Yeah, there's great dialogue in it.
There's such great dialogue. And he's such an awesome character. Hey, buddy, what's up? We've got a little elf trying to visit.
Nice. James, you're always welcome. You know that. Yeah, what else we got on this one? You want to go to some of the action scenes? Like, I mean, God, there's countless memorable ones. And I think a lot of the reason that the movie didn't do well is because the trailer didn't really tell people what the movie was supposed to be. And like they always show that scene where she cuts the Christmas lights and does the thing, and that's like showing that is crazy in a trailer, because that's literally like the scene where she kills the bad guy pretty much right at the end. Yeah, but I love Gina Davis in this movie. I love because she plays the two characters so well, and when they bring her up out of the water. And she's just like, she like
primal scream.
Yeah, that primal scream. And from there on in, it's basically just Charlie, for the last 45 minutes or whatever.
Yeah, it's kind of the tale of two movies.
Yeah.
And they're both, I love them both. I think the first half maybe is a little better because there's just some very over the top and off the rails stuff that happens in the third act or the second half. But you do get introduced to Charlie. You spend more time with Charlie, who I really love. Some of the dialogue that she has, even the scene not with Samuel,
Samantha hates smoking, and then all of a sudden, when she's Charlie, she's just constantly smoking.
Yeah,
Yeah, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang's a Christmas movie. I would say for sure.
totally.
Yeah.
I mean, in the Shane Black way. A lot of his
I mean,
movies are
Christmas is
just
happening. Yeah,
tangentially Christmas, but still they are.
yeah. I agree with that. Yeah, definitely.
People's rules about what is and what isn't a Christmas movie, to me, it's almost like if there's Christmas in the movie, like if it's set in December or even just in a snowy place, you can call it Christmas movie. I don't care. Like it doesn't have to have all these specific things that have to make it a Christmas movie. A couple little things are enough for you to label it a Christmas movie. Will everyone agree with you? No, probably not. But like, I'm happy to call anything a Christmas movie that has those small enough connections.
I think if the movie takes place during Christmas, to where by the end of the movie it's either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, that was done on purpose to be set that way, so it's a Christmas movie. I mean,
those are the outright Christmas movies. I'm talking about ones that everyone struggles with. Just
no. I'm saying the same thing. Like, Josh and I saw just the worst movie of the year last year, Silent Night, which was like a John Woo movie. They call it that, I guess, because it takes place on Christmas, but there's nothing Christmas in it. No mention of Christmas, no Christmas decorations. It's called Silent Night because I guess it takes place on. Oh wow, Gina Davis just popped up.
That's how Christmassy this movie is.
Yeah. Yeah, so that movie, it was called that because, nobody talks in it. And it's such a that gimmick gets so boring after about 10 minutes.
The fact that it was John Woo, I was interested and excited, but after I heard you talk about it, it's like
no good action either. No good action either. Just god awful. I'll be back 2 seconds.
All right.
Just continue on. I can hear you.
Well, I'm gonna go over. You can hear me, but I'm gonna go over some of the things that I felt like set up really great moments in this movie, but they're just ridiculous as all heck. Let's see here. So just weird shit happens in this movie. Like at the end, I don't even get what the bad guys are doing. Like they're parked next to this bomb that's about to go off, but they're within the perimeter of the blast and they're just sitting there waiting like, oh, okay, we're not going to approach. But then they know that the girl is somehow in the truck, so they start shooting at the truck. I don't even know how they know the girl's there. It's all a setup so that we can just have the final action moment. There's all these other moments in the movie. Mitch is supposed to honk the horn if somebody's coming, and we hear him honking, but the next thing we see, he's being chased by them. It's like, so did he really think that honking wasn't going to alert them and have them look over and see him? He didn't try to honk in a way that was more non-conspicuous. Immediately he's being chased, and all of this again is just a setup so we can have the ice skating shootout scene, which ends up being kind of cool. It's a moment that you don't have in any other movie. It goes right in with how the over the top and ridiculous moments all throughout this movie are when it comes to the action.
I love the ice skating shootout. It's hilarious.
But it only happens because Mitch starts getting chased by this car, which he seems like he's not so clueless that he would get himself caught by honking the horn when they come driving on the street. Yet he does. And so
her aim while ice skating and shooting 3 of those guys point blank in the head in the car.
She is the best assassin there is. Of course.
I know. No. I'm not making fun of it. It's great.
No. I agree with you. Like impossible, but yes, in this movie, sure. Let's see. Finds a gun in the case. Has men tried to kill, but runs from. Oh yeah. So you were saying like why'd they even run from Brian Cox's character? She finds the gun inside of the night before. She finds a gun inside of the case. Then she goes to the train station and has this whole thing where someone who she thinks she's meeting turns on her, tries to kill her, has to defeat all these guys, jumping out windows, becomes an action hero all of a sudden, gets rescued by some random person who's clearly there to not kill her like all the rest of them, there to help her and rescue her, runs over one of the terrorists on his way out to the parking lot. Yet then the next opportunity they get, I get that they would maybe be suspicious and not 100% trust him, but like the way the next lead that clearly now we're in this deadly plot, which I had a clue about the night before when I found a gun in the case.
Yeah.
They don't put anything together just so the plot can move us into the scene where we get to Daedalus and the farm, which is a really great scene and has cool twists and reveals, and you get the torture scene. So again, this stuff all leads to cool moments in the movie, but the setup to get you there doesn't put a lot of thought into it. It just does it out of stupidity.
Well, in Brian Cox, okay, I get why she's suspicious of people, but he never does anything in the movie himself to add suspicion to his character. If anything, he's only ever done because he was her CIA person.
Samuel says the only way they'd know we're there is if you told them or they were tapping your phone. And it's like, yeah, he said that. He said, yeah, they're listening to us. But that wasn't good enough for them to be like, okay, well we don't trust you.
I think it also makes sense too, because she's not fully Charlie yet. I think if she was Charlie, she would maybe think differently. But
no, I get that. But it's still like when you do have to put yourself in the shoes a little bit. And you're like, if I found a gun that I didn't know existed inside of my old case, and I'm trying to figure out about memory loss, like I got to use these clues and kind of put some thought behind what these clues might mean. And they're pointing to danger. I mean, I guess she was trying to get out of a dangerous situation she thought maybe Brian Cox was going to put her in, but just randomly showing up at that farm in the next scene after people have tried to kill them and acting like, well, this guy, I know him well enough. He must be a nice guy. Like they need to be more apprehensive of that whole situation.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. It kind of came out of nowhere. And I was like, oh no, I think he's the way they build his character shortly with the whole dog licking his ass thing, you immediately just think he's a good person. And you know, do they get back to that? Does she ever say like, hey, sorry?
Sorry, I was reading my notes. Did they ever get back to what part?
Did they ever get back to Brian Cox's character? I'm trying to remember.
Just that he's dead.
Yeah.
He's dead.
That's right. That's why.
Well, he comes and says, they figure out, him and Samuel figure out together, like, oh, if she knows these kind of details, he must be a target. And then they go running out and all get captured all in, one fell swoop. And then admittedly, I like the way it's handled, that you don't know his fate until you're dipped under the water and there he is underwater. That's actually done really well. But you don't get a lot with him because of that. Like he's only in about 3 actual on-camera scenes.
Yeah,
they're all great, but maybe 4 if you break up the scene where he comes and rescues them.
Do you think do you think there's a shared universe? Because he's also in the Bourne movies. He's alive.
Well, he didn't survive. Yeah. It would make sense that all of his agents have memory loss.
Yeah, that's true.
So another scene that's just like ridiculous, and it all has to kind of add together. So the little girl being in the movie, she's there for so many different little things that just need to push the plot along and add motivation. But her breaking her wrist sets up many different things. The ending where she talks her mom into being strong. It sets up that she's wearing a cast, which has her phone number on it, so the bad guy can use it throughout the movie.
Yep.
It sets up that she has these matches that are hidden that save the day. So some of it's kind of good plant, but not really. It's kind of very forced.
Well, let's let RRTNZ chime in on this. To be fair, Mitch SLJ isn't meant to be a genius. He fucks up, which is how Brian Cox gets the drop on him later.
Very true.
Yeah.
No, they do that because he's 100%. Like even though he's able to get the drop on him in that moment, he does it with his jacket, so he leads him right back to it. And then in that moment where Brian Cox's character gets the drop on Mitch while he's waiting for Gina Davis to talk to David Morose, I forget what he's saying, but he's like talking himself up. He's doing one of his songs and being like, I'm the most badass guy out here. And then this gun comes out of the back of the frame on his head. It's like, freeze, I got you. So yeah, 100%. He's played to be an idiot. He thinks he's can handle this type of situation and the world that he's in, the world of criminals and stuff like that. But clearly, as soon as anything real starts happening, he's way out of his element.
Real
It
in
works.
this,
It works
in,
a great
in this
comedic
world
effect.
of assassins and all that stuff.
Yeah, way beyond his pay grade of just like bums and dudes getting caught cheating or whatever.
Merry Christmas to you too, Protein. Merry Christmas to you too.
But what I was saying about the little girls, like everything about the little girl sets up all these moments that some of them that don't work, like the whatever Timothy character being her father and like, bring my little bitch in here. I want to look at her eyes. And I don't know. I just hate that all goes into his character just being stupid. And
those guys were lame.
And it's like combine. I don't like her character either. So you combine that moment has like both of them together in it. It's just like she doesn't even look like him.
Shitty actress. Yeah, she doesn't look like him.
She's a bad actress.
Yeah.
But so all that stuff where like the phone number, the matches, all being part of the wrist, and then for whatever reason, okay, so then stupidly we have to have Mr. Perkins be like, I'm not a complete monster. I want to give her a baby doll. What? Just so we can have a completely stupid moment later in the movie. So he gives her the baby doll. Now the baby doll scene only works for two reasons. One, because you have the matches that are set up, and because Gina Davis falls down into the basement when they're like, she gets out of the building with her daughter. She's going to try and run, but they're all surrounding her and shooting at her. And she falls backwards and rolls down like that ramp. And she ends up in the basement and she starts shooting just randomly for no reason. And it looks cool. You've seen all these like flashes and strobe lighting look. It's a really cool, like looking moment where she's like shooting, but she's like a trained assassin who knows who she's supposed to be shooting at. So all this random shooting seems totally pointless and stupid, but it's not pointless or it's not pointless because it creates this situation where all the kerosene and all the flammable liquids are coming out of the canisters that she just shot at now and filling the room. And that's the only reason that whole explosion is able to be set up, is that she just randomly, after falling down the stairs or whatever into the basement, just shoots the whole place up and then gets up and is like, oh, there's no one in here. Okay, well, I got to give up. They even say, it smells like you shot some gasoline. You better give up. Then we get the whole setup of like, oh, the baby doll, and she fills it with the kerosene.
Oh, dude, that's hilarious, dude.
And then she uses that to create a trail. And like,
another small nitpick. It doesn't matter if it's kerosene or not. If you're putting that down in like a freezer and it freezes, it's not going to light.
Yeah,
but whatever. That's small.
A freezer set to as cold as possible.
The pistol is hilarious though.
Like I love the shot of the explosion and Samuel flying
outside.
And it's like a fun moment, but it's just a lot of work to set that whole thing up with ridiculous moments to get there. And that one isn't even paid off all that well, but obviously we need the hero to survive, to find a way to get out of. Every movie has a hero in a situation. You're like, how are they going to get out of this? And it's not always satisfying. And at least it's had some setup to get us there. But it goes in line with what I'm pointing out is like, sometimes you get to really fun moments that kind of work within this ridiculous framework of this movie. Other times you get to over the top that don't totally work. But there's always or mostly a convoluted setup to create this action scene.
Can I bring up a scene that I don't think Rennie Harlan gets enough credit as an action director, because he definitely, like Tony Scott. I mean, he's no Tony Scott, but he has his own style and he's really good at shooting action and doing detailed things. Because I don't even know if this was in the script. It probably wasn't. But earlier in the film, when Sam/Charlie uses the refrigerator door to kind of block.
Oh, I love that.
Oh my God. So when she flies back, it's like, that's such a great.
That's that John Woo, James Cameron style of action. In my
opinion. What I mean. That's where I was going. Like James Cameron. Yeah. It's like this. the action, like one thing affects another
That's
thing. And
another thing.
yeah, that
100%.
scene's so great. Yeah.
And
So
I think Rennie Harlan's good at that at times. Not
yeah.
all of his action features moments like that, but a lot
Well,
of it
we
does.
can't all be the Adventures of Ford Fairlane. Good. The action scenes in that movie actually aren't terrible.
Yeah, they're actually pretty good. I think that was all my scenes that I wanted to bring up that were like just kind of crazy and lead to ridiculous stuff. There's definitely more, but those are the ones I wrote down.
Can you read this one from our boy or girl?
No, no script is perfect. As an audience, because we're interested in the characters, we'll let minor details pass. Mitch explains that he was an Atlanta cop who stole some bonds and did 4 years in jail. I really like that little moment in the movie.
I do too. Yeah, yeah.
Especially the way it's revealed. Like he's telling it, and you think that he was set up, and then he's like, "No, man, I stole those fucking things." Like that's very much what his character would be like. If it was like he was actually the one who got set up, that's less believable than him being like, "Oh no, man, I hated the fucker. I took that shit."
But let me be clear. The pool of kerosene was not a criticism. It was a nitpick. There's a difference. Because it's still so enjoyable. It's just when you get older and you watch some of these things, specifically in the 80s and 90s, 80s. Oh my God, some of this stuff that happens in action movies in the 80s is ridiculous. But no, it's a very fun scene. So it's not a criticism. It's just
the nitpick or criticism is that the reason that the kerosene exists doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Why she shot her guns, just lit up the whole room with nobody in it. Like that is clearly just there so that we can now have the kerosene all over the room.
Yeah, so we can have
the kerosene needed to be there because we were already setting up the fact that she had the baby doll. Like many scenes earlier, you were already setting the scene up with the baby doll. So it's multiple things that get us there, but none of them are really like plant and payoff can be done really well. Those aren't great examples of it. They just start, they still add up to a pretty fun moment, which is this whole segment I'm going through. But I am actually, I'm not sure if we've upset somebody, but I am critical of the setup of that whole scenario of the whole.
No, we didn't upset anybody. We're just all having conversations.
Well, I know, but they're saying like, oh, I shouldn't be that critical of it. Well, that is one area of this movie that I am pretty critical of that.
I think that was me that they were calling out, but.
Well, I'm just trying to make the point. I think this movie has a lot of great moments of plant and payoff and setup that is done well. But there are a lot of them that stand out as like just shoehorned in there so we can get a moment that does ultimately pay off sometimes. Not every time.
Moment of silence for this comment. Yes.
100%.
Yes. My favorite.
I was already thinking we have to do a Last Boy Scout review, maybe next year or something, but one of these Christmases when we got nothing better to do, we should just do that one.
What was that? 91? Yeah
91.
Yeah, I'm cool with doing that movie's, it's ridiculous. It's like I said, it's kind of a companion piece to this. Like the action is so bonkers, but you love the charisma and you love the chemistry. There was really good chemistry with Damon Wayans and Bruce Willis, and I still think Milo is one of the funniest villains in film history.
He is, yeah.
R.I.P. that guy too. That actor died. Don't know his name, but
Taylor Negron or something.
He was like a comedian.
Yeah,
they made him a villain. It was really weird, but anyway,
like Taylor Negron or something like that. Anyway, well, I don't have a ton more to talk about with this one. I do.
Let's talk about you want to talk about the climax, like the ending?
Sure. Well, the explosion is freaking done really well. I love that explosion.
Yeah, it is. Again,
stuff.
You could tell it was the Die Hard 2 guy. Like for some reason, a lot of like the compositing, like a lot of that stuff felt very similar to Die Hard 2. Like, McClane launching himself out of the plane and the fire behind. It's like it's all very aesthetics.
There might be some. 96. There might be some digital trickery being utilized, but for the most part,
it definitely was. Yeah.
This movie doesn't rely on any CGI digital. So still that throwback feel of late 80s and early 90s where they weren't relying on that stuff.
Yeah. Hey, folks, back then, they used to actually like do stunt work, and light explosion, real explosions and stuff. So yeah.
But yeah, even there's really cool shots of the cars on fire, like
Yeah.
as they're driving, the cars are flying through the air behind them. You can't tell if they're gonna outpace them and land in front of them or what, and like those look composited well, look believable, and knowing that that's not just a CGI car, we'll just add it with a computer, it's done really well. I think not every shot in that scene, every single edit looks perfect, but it's pretty impressive. And I have seen some behind the scenes shots of them blowing up the model, and it looks really, really cool.
Well, we've poked holes in the script like a teenage boy poking holes in condoms in the condom section at a CVS, pretty much. But when it comes to action, the action stunts in this movie are incredible. I think they're fantastic. And I think that's
Davis really.
And Gina Davis
really goes to the ringer in this movie. I think
she doesn't get any credit. This character does not get mentioned when they talk about these female character, never gets brought up ever. Yeah. And like she got buff for that. Like when she's like in the wife beater and like she's on the the water torture thing, she's got some beef, like she did her job.
Well, let's see here. For 1996 on the Lipton Street Awards, Long Kiss Goodnight came in 4th for Best Action Movie. But the reason I wanted to look was I feel like she probably won.
Ooh, I want to see out of what though? 4th
Best Hero. I'll go back to it. Best Hero, Gina Davis as Charlie Baltimore. Yep. I gave it to her over Will Smith from Independence Day, Jackie Chan from Rumble in the Bronx, Tom Cruise from Mission Impossible, Liam Neeson from Michael Collins.
Okay.
That was my hero list. Villains are nowhere to be seen because the villains in this movie sucked.
Yeah, they don't. They don't work very well. Yeah. Luckily, when you have a pairing of good actors with great chemistry.
Yeah, the action movies that I had ahead of it were Independence Day, The Frighteners, Scream, which I consider an action movie the way I do I don't have a horror category. And
you have Scream as an action movie?
Yeah, because that's where it would fit. I can't put it as drama.
Put it as a comedy.
Yeah, I'm not putting it there.
Yeah, I get you. I'm kidding, but
it's that's the way my list works. Horror is either action or drama, depending on which way it leans. But anyway, Independence Day, Frighteners, Scream, Long Kiss Goodnight, and Mission Impossible. Those are my 5.
Oh, okay. Can you read this one, sir?
Oh, you asked me to read that?
Yes, sir.
Hold on. My screen is off kilter. 1 second.
No worries.
My threshold for disbelief is whether something happens that makes me say out loud, nah, that's BS. Force Awakens, Rey beats Kylo in a duel. This film didn't reach that threshold for me. Yeah, no, I think the way everything is shot in this movie, I buy it. Like every moment, like
Gina Davis earns the way that she fights and the way it makes sense. Just the way the bride made sense in Kill Bill,
Dude, I love that pretty much the two of the villains, as soon as they see her, the bald dude and I want to say the guy I hate, the Craig Timothy character. As soon as they get the chance to, they just punch her straight in the face. As soon as they're close enough to, they just punch her straight in the face, and she takes it. There's no treating her to any different than because she's a woman or whatever. They are out to fuck her up and to kill her.
Yeah, and she does not always succeed in what she's trying to do. That's a character. That's what happens. Having said that, I'm not saying your criticism is unfair because you're right. It's a contrivance. I'm just saying it didn't break the illusion for me. No, it didn't for me either.
It didn't for me either. In fact, yesterday's the first time I noticed her shoot the gun in the basement to create that scenario. I always just was like, whatever. There's kerosene everywhere. But now I was
trying to
really
create
like,
a spark with a hammer in a freezer is pretty stupid. But
when you're watching it with a critical eye, certain things stand out a little bit more than just
that's true.
watching as a fan.
Hey, Scotty, 37 Merry Men.
Welcome,
He also
Scotty.
says Long Kiss Goodnight was filmed in a quarry outside of my town. Oh, it was filmed in Canada. Okay. One of the explosions blew out windows miles away. Sweet.
Heck yeah. Nice.
I'm gonna get to sending you a link there soon, sir. I'm not sure what you're up to. If you want to come on and talk about it, we will talk about it. I know we're gonna move on to Violent Night soon, but we can free for all it, whatever. He's responding to your list. Wow, what a great year for action movies. Yeah. The 90s, the years in the 90s did not have a shortage of action movies. There's always some good ones in there,
90s had a lot of good years, and if I read you my entire list from 96, there's actually things that I'd be embarrassed about on there, but
why would you be embarrassed? You're not.
No, I feel that 96 is one of the weakest years of the 90s, to be honest. So my best picture list that year, I mean, these aren't terrible, but this is my best picture list from 96.
I like Twister,
Fargo, Train Spotting, The People vs. Larry Flint, Jerry Maguire, and Independence Day. That was my top five for the year.
Didn't The Rock come out that year?
I think so. Yeah, I'm not a fan. Not a fan in that way where it got a bunch of awards.
No, but it's a solid action movie.
It's a solid action movie, but I didn't put it ahead of the five that I mentioned.
No, I wouldn't either. It just reminded me that.
But you pointed out like Twister was also that year. I didn't have that highly listed. Like
Twister
I don't hate those movies. They didn't make the cut.
Twister was only good because of its characters. A lot of the action was kind of boring. Like once you've seen them run from one tornado, you don't need to see them run from 5 more, but I like Twister though. It's fun. Alan Ruck.
But yeah, the 90s have a lot of good years, but 96, there's good stuff, but I think 96 is actually one of the weaker years. In fact,
fair enough.
So to be honest, 96 was the year that made me start my list. 97 is the first true year of my list. 96 through 89, I did retro. I went back in time and worked on those years. Okay. But I started in 97 because The English Patient won Best Picture. If I'm remembering this correct, The English Patient beat Fargo for Best Picture. And I went, that doesn't make any sense. How would that happen? That can't happen.
Fargo was 95.
I need to do my own Oscars. And
Fargo what do you mean it beat Fargo? Fargo
was 96. Did not win Best Picture. The English,
Frances McDormand won though, right?
Yeah, she won Best. Yeah. But that was what made me say, okay, this doesn't make sense. I need to do my own list so the right movies are winning. And then the next year that I did it was 97, which Titanic won. But
Lemon Pie. Good evening and Merry Christmas, Ben. Merry Christmas, Scotty. Well, Scotty's not here, but actually he is. He's in the chat. But anyway, sorry, John. But yeah, just want to say hi to the chat. And then Scotty says lemon. I could have sworn that Fargo was 95. That's so crazy. I just get all. What was
95 is crazy stacked. 95 has like 7 and 95 is a really good year. Okay, my list. Not everybody will agree with, but Braveheart, Dolores Claiborne, 12 Monkeys, Toy Story, and 7. That's my top 5. Braveheart, Dolores Claiborne, 12 Monkeys, Toy Story, and 7. But my action list is Braveheart, 12 Monkeys, 7, Usual Suspects, and Desperado. Dramas are Dolores Claiborne, Casino, Apollo 13, Rob Roy, Dead Man Walking. Like there's really good stuff in 95.
I forgot how many good movies there were. Yeah.
And then 95 has for comedy, Toy Story, Home for the Holidays, French Kiss, While You Were Sleeping, and Jumanji. Yeah,
French Kiss is a good movie. It's a movie about wine.
Like all-time great
about wine, so that's always good.
But the rest of the stuff's got some pretty all-time greats, like 7, Braveheart, Usual Suspects.
Well, you got Brad Pitt in 2 of those. Yeah.
Anyway, let's get back to Christmas movies. The only thing I have left for Long Kiss Goodnight that I wanted to mention was the score, which I really liked. It's not like
Didn't really stand out to me
distinct.
that much.
It's not distinct where it's like, oh, that's the score from Long Kiss Goodnight or something. But I think it works really well in the moments it needs to. It works as action. Also, it works to build intrigue when it needs to, when the mystery kind of part of the story is going on, and even some of the dramatic moments. I think it really works as well. So
I think it works a little bit better in the quieter dramatic moments, because the action stuff, like there was no driving theme that I really recall. But again, I only watched it again last night. I'd probably need to rewatch it again.
You know, I didn't even check to see who it was, because it doesn't have like a familiar sound to it.
It
Where
didn't
I'm
sound
like,
like Michael.
like if I was gonna
Kamen
pick somebody, I would pick like Alan Silvestri, but it definitely doesn't sound like it is Alan Silvestri. I just think it had sounds that I could say, you know, are reminiscent of his.
Well, you think it would be Kamen, because Kamen does like so many of
It
those.
could have been, maybe.
I don't think it was, but I could be wrong. English Patient was a good movie, but a bit slow. I love Ray Fiennes to death, but that movie's so boring, in my opinion. Anyway, I was reading a comment.
No,
Hey!
but it made me think, like, as much as I didn't like The English Patient, did I even give it any awards? And no, I think I nominated a couple of the actors in it, but that's about it.
It's pretty well, it's not pretty slow. It's like the epitome of slow. Hey, Scotty, what's happening, brother?
My favorite review of The English Patient is that episode of Seinfeld where Elaine is yelling at the screen saying, "Why won't you just die?"
Yeah, I do love that. Yeah. Well, the Schindler's List kiss is the funniest thing ever. Like,
yes,
you were making out during Schindler's List.
Yes.
Yeah, but anyway. So do you have any, Scotty, I know that you like or have at least seen A Long Kiss Goodnight.
Parts of it, yeah.
Parts of it.
Yeah.
How do you only see parts?
Well, I got really drunk and I started watching it and I passed out.
Okay.
That makes sense.
So, but I have it on Blu-ray. I just haven't watched it all the way through. I think there's even an audio commentary from Shane Black.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
But I still haven't. I'm just here for research and chat purposes, but I like hanging out with you guys if you don't mind.
No, for sure. But I would have loved to have like a Gina Davis, because she did another movie with Rennie Harlan too, right? The fucking pirate movie.
I got that too. I got
the pirate movie was the
Blu-ray,
year
Cutthroat
before.
Island.
Yeah, it was the year before.
I don't hate that movie, but everyone else.
But it is pretty forgettable. I tried to rewatch it and was like, yeah, it really doesn't have anything that stands out.
Well, except for
Matthew
Frank Langella.
Modine is not the most like convincing. I'm sorry, action lead. He's just not. Like, he's a good actor, but you know. But
Well,
yeah,
I think
they got divorced. I don't know. I guess after Long Kiss Goodnight, or maybe they were.
It was in the process.
Going through it a little bit, which you can't tell. You know, like if they were not on good terms while this movie was being made, you can't tell. Like she puts in a good performance. No. It seems like a really good collaboration between the two of them.
You think it would have been the pirate movie?
Really good. Like
you think it would have been the pirate movie that broke them?
Well, but it was Carol Co.
Yeah.
So and it was in the downfall of Carol Co. Like they were still planning on making an epic with Schwarzenegger after Long Kiss Goodnight, and they bet all their money on Long Kiss Goodnight, and it did not get the returns that they anticipated to fund.
No.
Anything else.
Yeah, I guess, Ben, you should talk about the bidding war, right, for the script.
Well,
this was a famous script that cost a ton of money for its day.
It was a #1 Blacklist movie, which in script world, Blacklist is a good thing, not a bad thing. Your script gets like bid on. So a lot of the scripts in the Blacklist are like scripts that are genius, but people haven't picked up for whatever reasons. Our boy Blake Robbins has In the Lake of Fire in the Blacklist right now that he can't get made because there's a bidding war on it or something. But so Long Kiss Goodnight, as well as actually Lethal Weapon. I think he got like almost $1 million for the Lethal Weapon script.
Yeah, from what I understand, that was one of the biggest payouts for any screenwriter up until that point.
Yeah, and then in this one, he got $3 million for Long Kiss Goodnight, which is funny because they rewrote half of it, or not half of it, but remember, John, like they rewrote the ending because Samuel L. Jackson's character dies in the script, and then, they made sure he didn't die in the movie, which is a good call. But $3 million, and then Shane Black went on hiatus and just probably spent some time in the Bahamas with some hookers, because he didn't do anything for a long time. And
when he returned as a director. So
well,
but when was The Last Boy Scout?
91.
Oh, so it was pre. Okay.
Yeah,
I think he got a pretty penny for that one too, because at that point he was like top tier screenwriter after Lethal Weapon, where he got an ungodly amount of money for that one. So
yeah,
but
for Shane Black,
yeah, for sure. And he did direct Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, right?
Yeah, that was his directorial debut.
And that's a really interesting. I like that it's not as good as like I wanted it to be when I first saw it, because everyone's like, oh, it's so amazing, but it is good. No, I really like it, but I one thing I respect about it is that it's a Christmas film noir, and it takes a lot of chances. And man, God, that's
comeback story too.
That was one of Val Kilmer's like last really good performances before.
Yeah, even though it was a while before he was kind of losing his health.
Yeah.
He didn't get a lot of opportunities or great roles during that period. So that was one of the last ones where it was like truly the Val Kilmer we all love. Even more so, like he was kind of given an opportunity to act even more than some of the other roles in the past. Like,
right.
I think he's a great actor in a lot of stuff, but I think he also kind of found a niche of just being a kind of a pretty boy to some degree. And I thought he was able to break the mold a little bit with that film.
Well, I think Val Kilmer should have won an Oscar for playing Jim Morrison, and I think he should have at least been nominated for playing Doc Holliday. So he definitely was a character actor,
I would have gone the other way around. The nomination was for Jim Morrison. The win should have been for Doc Holliday.
But what I mean by that is,
I'm sorry, but he can't win for Doc Holliday because he'd be going against Ray Fiennes. Too many good people from 93. 93 is insane.
Well, but he was supporting actor, and he would have been actor.
Supporting actor for 93 is
Schindler's List. Yeah.
Toughest. But and Ray Fiennes didn't even fucking win. You know who won? Pisses me off. Tommy Lee Jones for the Fugitive. Beat Ray Fiennes, beat Leonardo DiCaprio from What's Eating Gilbert Grape, beat John Malkovich from In the Line of Fire, beat Val Kilmer, who didn't even get nominated, from Tombstone, and Ben Kingsley from Schindler's List.
I remember that year I was rooting for John Malkovich because he was the best part of In the Line of Fire. He was so good in that movie.
Freaking Leonardo DiCaprio blew our minds, like all of those.
Ray Fiennes, full retard.
Ray Fiennes' villainous role in Schindler's List like never been topped. And the funny thing is, my list from 94 or 93, I'm sorry, is all four of the nominees. Or sorry, I have 5 nominees. It's 4 nominees that actually did get the nominations: Ray Fiennes, Leonardo DiCaprio, John Malkovich, and Ben Kingsley. And then I include in there Val Kilmer, as he should be. And I exclude Tommy Lee Jones, who actually won over all of those.
Tommy Lee Jones literally just played a procedural television show detective. Don't get me wrong. He was really good in that movie.
But those are like all-time performances.
You know what it was though? Because dude, John, the Oscars are political. It's like who is doing what and when. Like everybody like thought he was so great because he's one of the only characters in that movie.
So you're saying Tommy Lee Jones was fucking Weinstein?
Yes, that's exactly it.
I wouldn't put it past him.
He's got that. Tommy Lee Jones has a magic tongue.
I will not sanction your buffoonery.
Exactly. Like he was better in No Country for Old Men, to be fair. So
better
no, he did not get nominated for that. Tommy Lee Jones had a lot of nominations. I think he even had one before that win. I think he got nominated for JFK. So it's not like he didn't have other opportunities, but whatever.
But it was a very generic performance.
Did he play Hoover in JFK? He did, right?
No,
he's like
the gay.
He's. I don't know what that
Yeah,
character was, but he's like a gay dude who's on trial.
Joe Pesci and Gary Oldman.
And you know who should have been nominated from JFK? Joe Pesci. He didn't get a nomination. On my list, I gave him a nomination. He was really good in that.
Yeah. Well, but also, you know what? John Candy should have been a nod. There have been shorter performances nominated for Oscars, and I think that John Candy was brilliant in that film.
I think John Candy should have won for Cool Runnings. Personally,
yeah, no, true.
He's actually really great in that.
At least an MTV Movie Award or something.
He's actually fantastic in that movie, and it's one of his last performances, and you can tell because he looks.
Oh,
like,
he's
gonna die.
He has a gravitational pull. I'm sorry to say, such mean things, but
anyway, we'll say hi to a couple people in the chat, and then John, do you want to finish anything with Long Kiss, or do
no?
you
I'm good, ready to move on to
Violent Night.
Violent Night.
Finity's here. I got 2 puns, one for each of you. Ah, good one. Good tombstone pull. I got 2 guns, one for each of you. Very nice. Fines totally deserved his statue. Did he get a statue?
No, it went to
the award. The award. Okay.
It went to Tommy Lee Jones.
Yeah, Ray Fiennes doesn't have an Oscar.
Still hasn't won, but he's supposedly going to get nominated this year. I don't think it means he's going to win, but the movie that he's in this year there's talk of him getting nominated.
I'm on that train. Kilmer for Best Supporting Actor. Doc Holliday. Yeah, no, 100%. Not even mentioned in the conversation, but yeah.
Ray Fiennes was so good in The Menu.
Dude, hell yeah. All right, I'm going to bring up, let's see, we got a
trailer or something?
Yeah, I'm going to bring up the trailer for Violent Night because this movie is a fucking blast. It's Die Hard if John McClane was Santa Claus. I got to make sure to cut it. That line is not in the movie. He says like, it's my 12,000th something, it's for trailer purposes. Well, that's not true because it's going to be like a bad Santa because that opening scene when he goes to the roof and gets on the sleigh.
No, I'm talking about this trailer. The trailer specifically plays in a way where they don't establish.
Sorry, I thought you meant the movie itself.
So him saying that line of like, I started the whole thing because his real line is, I've done it so long I forget or something like that. It plays into him being a drunk and disillusioned. Whereas this keeps it like he's still a happy, upbeat Santa for the first 30 seconds of the trailer. Then people come in with machine guns, but
no, you're right. I thought you meant because in the movie,
they established right before the title card that this is not a kid friendly.
It's one of the funniest scenes in the movie where like he just like stumbles out of that bar because all these other mall Santas think he's just a mall Santa. But, the bartender owner or whatever, like knows something's up. So she goes to the roof and he's flying away on Santa's sleigh and he fucking pukes all over her face. He's like,
and it's like hot, steaming puke in the cold snow. There's like noodles hanging off of her forehead.
Yeah.
Really
that's when you're so like, okay,
terrible. By the night or no?
No, I want you guys to spoil it for me. It'll be great.
Oh my gosh.
It's entertaining because it's hilarious. It's entertaining because it's gruesomely violent. It's entertaining because David Harbour has so much charisma and he's so good as like a Santa that in the movie, John, like I think you and I said this at the end of 2022, this could be a companion piece to the Northman.
Yes,
because he's basically a
Viking.
He's a Viking. Yeah.
Which totally works. Like, I mean, that
totally works.
When you see him in those moments where he's like putting his hair back and he's looking more Viking-esque, but still looking like Santa, like you realize you're like, yeah, that is what Santa is. He's a freaking Viking.
Yes. So I'll do the brief setup of this movie. So this,
can we get a picture of Santa on screen?
Yeah. Okay. So the opening, so basically it's like John and I were saying, it's Die Hard if John McClane was Santa. But so you get that opening with him as Santa just being drunk. And then there's a montage during the credits of him just letting the reindeer fly while he sleeps, and then he's so tired and exhausted and drunk. He keeps going, he goes down the chimney, drops off the presents, but then he looks for the milk and cookies, but he always goes for the booze, which is great. Like he wants the cookies, but not the milk. And he goes for the booze at every one of the houses. So you get your setup for Santa, that he's just kind of fed up and tired of it. And then it cuts to this family, and you do have to kind of sit through a little bit of drama set up with like a family, and you're like, who are these people? Like,
it's not drama. It's ridiculous, over the top buffoonery.
Well, I don't mean drama. I don't mean drama. I mean, like, there's this setup with this family drama.
I get what you're saying. And yeah, you're right. You have to have the setup of the family dynamic and the drama.
So you learn about this guy and his kid and the wife. And then you realize they're going to this, like, basically, what would you say? It's like a Steve Jobs, Elon Musk type of like person who has so much money that there's nothing. I mean, they're like billionaires.
I forget if they say what like their company does, like how they have.
But they're like billionaires.
But they're somebody, old money, clued into whatever's going on, with politics right now, and supposedly, I forget if they say exactly who it is, but somebody high up was laundering money or whatever through Beverly D'Angelo. So Beverly D'Angelo.
Beverly D'Angelo,
dude. Scotty,
so being that it's a Christmas movie, they have Beverly D'Angelo as a callback to Christmas Vacation, and she's like the matriarch of this family, and
she's funny as fuck in this movie.
But she's the CEO of whatever this corporation is that has them all rich and powerful.
Yeah,
and the reason that the terrorists or thieves, because again they're kind of treated like they're terrorists, but they are just thieves, much like in Die Hard,
right?
And
they're just trying.
They are but thieves.
Well, they're trying to open a safe of like $600 million or something.
I think Krampus probably is a butt thief, but yeah. When you see the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. Sure. So they were supposed to like launder a ton of money. I mean, I don't know if I want to give you the exact details of the movie.
Keep going.
But they're supposed to launder a bunch of money.
Territory.
And this is why they're there on Christmas, to break into the personal vault in this home. It's a compound, but and they have security, but their security,
it's not good.
I don't want to give everything away. Like Scotty,
it's fine. I don't care. It's more like, this is the thing, is that I don't care about spoilers, and if people in the audience do care about spoilers, welcome to the jungle.
John has almost
you can give me the details. I can read the novelization.
Jesus Christ.
Scotty, stop talking.
Scotty, stop. Ben,
John has almost a phobia of giving spoilers away.
I don't care.
I like people to enjoy it the way the filmmaker wanted to.
You telling me about it is not going to equal watching it.
True.
That's what I'm talking about. That's why you should watch it. It turns out better. But anyway, well, let's just get into the movie and talk details, and along the way we'll spoil all kinds of shit. But
yeah,
can't wait.
So basically Santa, so you meet the family and they have to go to this. The dad is like, he has some kind of secret hidden or something. You don't know what it is. But they go to the family house, and obviously this right here, you can see this picture. That's like the room that they hang out in. So it's like, you already know they're trillionaires or, fucking Google plexionaires or whatever the hell. And
Technobabble moneymakers.
But then you have David Harbour's Santa. He goes upstairs. He flies in, goes upstairs, and then John Leguizamo and these clowns. They're like, hey, we need the number to the safe. We need the vaults. We need to get into the vault. And Santa, just like John McClane, upstairs hears like gunfire and stuff, and he's grabbing cookies. He was already up there like drinking brandy and scotch and stuff. And then the action ensues. Like, they stumble upon Santa, and at first you're kind of like, John, I don't know if you felt this way. It's like, does he have superpowers? Because he kind of like gets his ass kicked a little bit, but then he kind of he powers up and he like fucks people up,
So my take on this movie, when it first came out, and I'd heard about, okay, there's basically a Die Hard with Santa as the hero. And I don't know why in my brain I didn't realize that needed to be a very comedic approach. But I went into the movie wanting, like I do with every movie, whether I know it's not going to go this direction or not, I went in wanting a serious movie. I wanted it to take itself serious in some way.
It kind of did. It did.
And so as soon as they started introducing the family and how over the top they are, like the sister, the sister and her son, who's like a TikToker, and then her the boyfriend or whatever, husband boyfriend, who's like
she goes
failed actor,
make out with me in front of my son.
Yeah, like that stuff was so over the top. It turned me off of this movie pretty early when I first watched it.
I thought that was fucking hilarious.
But when I got through the movie, I was like, yeah, it was entertaining. And on a second watch, when I could fully appreciate the tone this movie actually went for, I love this movie now. But my first viewing of it, I was going in just wanting it to be serious, even though every minute that went by, I knew it was not going to be a serious approach to the story. I wasn't totally loving it because of the approach not being what I wanted.
But it gets
now I get it. This is one they approached it exactly the way they needed to. There is still a little bit of seriousness and pathos that David Harbour brings to the character, especially when you hear him talk about his backstory and his history. And some of those moments shared with the little girl do give me just enough to buy into a serious element in the story. But it's the exact tone that it needed to be. And I'm just like, I never watched the trailer, which clearly shows you that it is more comedic than it is serious. But I always want any movie that is kind of a Die Hard type of story where terrorists take over a situation and someone has to one-man army fight their way to save the day. I always want the serious approach to that. And this didn't do it, but it worked perfectly. And the humor that David Harbour, like you were saying, when you introduce this character going house to house and like certain cookies they're hard or whatever, they're stale. He's like critiquing the milk. This is skim milk. I don't like this shit or whatever. And every present, like they really do set up at the beginning of this movie that the state of Christmas right now, that's why he's so disillusioned, because kids today, all they care about is cash and video games and all that stuff. So they set up really well how disillusioned he is and how he's like, this may be the last year I even do this, because he's just lost. He's personally losing the drive and desire to be a part of the Christmas spirit and the Christmas magic. It's all just fading away everywhere he looks, whether it's adults or kids. The Christmas magic is disappearing. And so when you asked, is he magical? I'm sorry, there's a long-winded way to get back to, is he magical? I, for some stupid reason, wanted a serious approach to Die Hard, but to have Santa clearly be magical. And I don't know how that was going to work in my mind, but it's the opposite. They took a very comedic.
Well, he is in certain scenes, which
his
is what
bag and everything that there is Christmas magic, but he personally has no. Well, I'm sorry, he does have magic, but he's not super powered.
No,
his magic doesn't give him any abilities to one up the bad guys. Not necessarily. I guess he has one thing that he can do.
The only way he can fight so good is because he was a Viking.
He was a Viking. So they write that into the story really well, and he has to kind of bring that back. Like it's not something he's had to utilize until he gets himself in the situation. So the first two fights or so, he's really outmatched, and he's just trying to get out of the situation. But like any good hero, and like a John McClane type of hero, he uses what's around him, and he just uses his wits really well throughout every scene. And that, I've come around to this being he's such a great version of the Die Hard hero. But I thought, yes, it was going to be like a Santa with magic, and I love that he's not, but they still use like his bag.
Yeah, his bag,
just the right moments to
like
apply some magic.
Yeah. And you don't get the reindeer, like they're gone. But I'll say the good callback to Die Hard is the walkie-talkies. He's talking to the girl, and when he's injured, he's spilling his heart out to the girl. Hey, I want to say hello in the panel to Tony from Stark of Iron.
Ho, ho, ho!
Hey, man.
Good evening. Good evening.
Thanks for being here. Yeah, thanks for being here. We're talking about two really good action, violent Christmas movies. So
I like the latter over the former. It was a breath of fresh air, like I said at the beginning of the chat.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, you've seen Violent Night.
That year, 2022 had pretty shitty palette as far as like releases were concerned. So
Channels that Viking spirit in that whatever it would, like the farmhouse or whatever, and he grabs that sledgehammer and
yes,
kills
hammer.
everybody. That scene's great.
He's like Thor for all of a sudden, you know.
Yeah, pretty much.
Smashing knees, faces, limbs. Oh, you don't need this. Crack.
I actually I'm not a huge John Leguizamo guy, but I liked he was the one that played this movie completely straight, like 100% straight. Like he was just a villain, and somehow manages to, you know, hold his own against Santa towards the end of it or whatever. But I like I know, John, you were saying like the family so over the top, and they are, but then you get like this. Remember, you know how like all the terrorists slash like robbers like call themselves like Christmas names.
I love it. That part's so great.
But then you get like this really strange. It's almost like they grabbed a drug addict off the street and put him in this movie. There's this one henchman that's just like, hey, you know, the guy I'm talking about?
Krampus.
Yeah, he's so
the one that wants to put the guy's balls in the nutcracker, and he's happy to do it. They're like, I love hiring psychopaths. They'll do anything.
That guy is.
Or they love to try new things. There's some really great dialogue in this movie.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. That guy.
Well, you were talking about John Leguizamo and playing it straight. I really love the scene where two of the henchmen, I forget the names, but they all do have really kind of fun names that go with their characters to some degree.
Yeah,
it's the two that end up getting home alone by the little girl, but they're the two that have actually seen Santa doing things magical already, and they're starting to believe it and buy into the fact that he says he's the real Santa. And one of them kind of starts to open her mouth to say that, and John Leguizamo's like, "Don't be an idiot out loud."
Yeah,
like he's not willing to buy into it for a couple scenes, as they are starting to buy into it. Like I think even when they introduce,
they have him tied up, and then they see things happen.
Yeah, he gets away and he goes up the chimney.
And there's moments where when they're talking to the SWAT team,
they know
he's actually Santa.
yeah, that's another one when he's like, he might actually be Santa, and he's like, what the fuck did she just say? He's like, oh, don't worry about her. Yeah, the comedy really works, and that's why, it's so weird. My first viewing of this, like, I just wasn't really willing to buy into it as a comedy, even though clearly every moment of it was told me this is a comedy. And so I kind of came out of it being like, I didn't totally love it. But now that I've rewatched it and accepting it for what it is and going in with the right mind frame, it is the best Christmas movie to come out since, like, the only Christmas movie that I think deserves to be considered a new Christmas classic, the kind you maybe watch every year or you make sure everybody knows about as a new Christmas classic of like the last 20 years to some degree. I mean, Bad Santa is in there, 2003.
Yeah.
And even Bad Santa 2 is really
20
great.
years ago. Yeah.
But yeah, you're like almost 20 years ago. This is the only movie that I think really deserves to be on the shelf next to those kind of classic Christmas movies.
And Outlaw Bill, thank you for being here. The answer is yes.
If there are no follow-up questions.
Yeah, the answer is yes. And
Outlaw Bill's got good karaoke chops, man.
Is that right? Is this somebody you know? Okay.
Yeah,
I know Bill.
We would love a Christmas sub from a new person. So that'd be wonderful. I literally just subscribed myself. Good reminder, Bill. Howdy, Outlaw Bill. Oh, okay, cool. Yes, you should sub. Oh, thank you, Lemon.
You should sub because we are dumb.
Well, I was trying to find.
Did you notice the? I feel like there are references, and I'm wondering if anyone in here can help me figure out what the Die Hard 3 reference might be, because I didn't get one. But Die Hard 1, clearly just the plot is referenced. And then you have the wonderful moment where he's looking for things in the bag, and he's like, Die Hard on DVD. Damn it. Like, that's just
Yeah.
like literal throwaway line. It's so awesome. But then Die Hard 4 gets a little bit of a reference when they throw the fire extinguisher at the door and shoot it and make it explode. That I
cool.
feel like is a little bit of a Die Hard 4 reference. And then Die Hard 2, I feel like is reference with the twist of who the some of the bad guys are. That's the same.
Oh yeah, the big reveal.
Moment in Die Hard 2.
But also John Leguizamo was in Die Hard 2.
Oh, hey, there you go. He is. He's like almost uncredited, but you don't even really...
very minor role, kind of like Robert Patrick.
But a Die Hard 3 one, I was trying to think like what specifically maybe would play into that. But anyway.
Oh, I haven't seen it, so I can't tell.
No, I know. Tony,
you should see it. It's good. It's a good time.
I've heard it's good. Yeah, no, this is getting high praise. I'm gonna check it out.
Like I said, it's the only true, new Christmas classic that needs to be seen.
Yeah, it sounds like it. The last time I got a Christmas recommendation, it was from Ben, and I did buy the DVD, and I got The Ref.
Oh, did you like it?
Fucking love that movie.
It's in my top 5 favorite Christmas movies.
Yeah. And it's just such a shame that nowadays it is difficult to be able to, recommend a Kevin Spacey movie.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? John, I know he's one of your favorite actors, right? Like,
no.
Well, you've always talked about him. You said he was great in bed.
Yeah, no, he had the sex with Harvey Weinstein.
We made jokes at his expense with three.
Oh yeah, we did.
Three men inside Kevin Spacey.
That was one of the
3
funny
billboards outside Ebbing.
When we were doing 3 billboards, that intro when we were saying, "Oh, is that 3 men and a baby?" and then you said, "I think it's 3 men inside Kevin Spacey." I fucking died.
That is hilarious.
Yeah, that's a good one. Now,
anyway.
No, I mean, I like Kevin Spacey's performance.
Well, and his character in The Ref is so good.
Oh,
I mean, The Ref is called Dennis Leary in The Ref, and Dennis Leary is literally just backseating himself the entire movie.
Yeah.
I think if that movie was, it could have the dumbest title. It could be The Christmas Fight. I don't know, anything where it had a Christmas title. People would know that movie and think it's a hilarious, great Christmas comedy. The fact that it's called The Ref and the typical marketing for it is just a picture of Kevin Spacey. I think the only Christmassy thing is that, it's Dennis Leary standing with his leg over Kevin Spacey and Judi Davis. And I think maybe they're tied up with a Christmas bow, which is very small in the image. But beyond that, you have no idea it has anything to do with Christmas. And it would be watched every year by people if they knew it was a Christmas movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just call it something else that is Christmas related. Give the cover a little bit more Christmas flair, and people would know and love that movie.
Yeah. Well, a lot of movies, especially Christmas movies and stuff, they don't know how to market themselves very well, so.
Well, I want to say that movie actually came out in March too, so it foolishly was a Christmas movie.
Yeah, we did a whole show on it. Yeah,
it also did not come out at Christmas time, so it did itself no favors.
Yeah, we did an entire show on that movie, and yeah, you brought that up in that too. Yeah,
definitely worth a watch.
Well, while we're talking about, Violent Night is a blast. I love it. It's violent. It's fun. David Harbour's awesome in it. The little girl is great. Her and David Harbour are the heart of the movie. And again, I was using the restroom, John, when you said the fire extinguisher call back to Die Hard 4. I didn't even think of that. I didn't even think of that. But it's totally true. It's kind of the same exact thing, pretty much.
Well, that's why I was wondering, can you think of a callback to Die Hard 3 that I could not think of? Because Die Hard 2 has the twist with the villains. Die Hard 1 has its name dropped and everything about the movie.
Well, no, based on the trailer, does Santa ever complain about being hungover?
Well, he's not hungover, but he's been drinking.
He sobers up from the situation, and that's another thing. The situation.
He has a sign that says,
He
has a sign that says "I hate" on it.
He doesn't keep drinking or anything like that. He's engaged in the situation and trying to save the right people.
Yeah.
Well, no, just the overtones of alcoholism that were happening to John McClane in Die Hard with a Vengeance. I thought maybe that would be a thing based on what I saw in the trailer. But if it's not, then
does he
haven't
take
seen
some
it.
asprin or something like that? No,
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, the only thing I would say,
he has to
John,
patch himself up at one point, like in Die Hard and
Yeah, but he does that in
Rambo
Die
and
Hard
stuff.
1.
the only thing I would say, John, to answer that question about 3, probably goes more back to 1, where it's all about breaking into a safe. That's more like 1, even though they do that in 3 as well. But
Yes,
yeah,
and
I
you
can't
said
think of anything. I can't think of anything that would.
Well, yeah, I guess you could kind of have a twist that some of the treasure isn't where it's supposed to be, but that's like happens in lots of things.
No, yeah, I would have to like take some time and like really rewatch it to get something out of 3. I'm sure there's something there, but remember 3
and
wasn't a Christmas movie, but neither was 4.
Yeah.
And I didn't even care to look for something that connected it to 5 because 5 doesn't exist.
5 doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
It does not exist. Does not exist. I'm glad we're all on the same page on that one.
Yeah.
I want you to name your top 3 Jai Courtney movies. Anyway.
What's the one? Black. What's the spoof he did?
What?
The spoof, like a
He was in a spoof?
Yeah, I can't think of it.
Yeah, he was in Terminator Genesis.
No, anyway, I can't think of it.
I could not. Yeah, I would not know. I don't know any good Jai Courtney movies. So.
Suicide Squad.
He was in the Suicide Squad for about.
No,
5
he was
minutes.
He was in the first one.
But he was in the second one for about 5 minutes.
Was he? Did he come back? Good for him.
One. Yeah, he's in it for like 5 minutes or something.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen the second one. Anyway, who cares? Fucking
who cares? Yeah. I want to do a video now, Scotty, on my 3 favorite Jai Courtney movies.
I think you're talking about Michael Jai White or whatever. I didn't even realize you were talking about Jai Courtney.
Oh yeah. No, we're talking about the
Black Dynamite.
Black Dynamite. That's what I was trying to think of. That movie's freaking awesome.
Yeah,
but that's not who you were talking about. So
no,
sorry.
not at all. Not at all. Black Dynamite is way cooler.
Black Dynamite's awesome.
Jai Courtney was Black Dynamite.
When he said it, that's where my mind went. I heard Jai, and I don't know. I got confused.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Michael J.
Absolutely. Oh, okay, John. Now I finally found it. So you're talking about the poster for the ref. I don't know if you remember, but the poster we did with our faces.
Oh, nice.
There we go. Oh, so it's not even a Christmas bow around them.
No, we did that ourselves. Yeah. Well, we put our giant heads.
No, but I don't think the real image even has a Christmas bow. It has the bungee cords from the movie.
Anyway, I think I'm going to leave this up the whole time because to me that's really funny.
That's amazing. I love that movie. I love that movie very, very much.
Oh, there's so much heart and there's so much great dialogue in that movie. Like, you know what I'm going to do, Mom, is next time you feel slighted, go outside. I'm totally butchering this, but
no, but I know where you're
big
going.
wooden cross, and next time you feel slighted, you could go outside and nail yourself to it.
And the thing is that I saw that movie with my aunt, and she went apeshit, and my mom got mad at her because she liked it that much, and it was like, that's the way you think of our mother, and it was just, it was so good. It was one of those moments where you're watching something in a movie, and it's actually happening in 3D around you. It's great.
Scotty, it's a very different, it's a little bit more of a dramedy tone, but very similar in terms of the family visiting and the hilarious hijinks that you get in those moments of the ref. Have you ever seen Home for the Holidays?
Is that the one with Holly Hunter?
Yes.
I have not
Wasn't
seen
that
it,
directed
but I want
by,
to. That's a Thanksgiving's movie, though.
Directed by Jodie Foster.
Yes.
Starring Holly Hunter. Tons of other great people in it.
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr.
Steve Guttenberg.
It's really funny. It's a little bit more dramedy than the ref is, where that's kind of like broad comedy. They both
Also,
have
isn't there one with Tia Leone that is sort of in the same?
that one I think what you're talking about is like the Nicolas Cage one,
Nicolas Cage
right?
one,
The
right?
Family Man.
Oh, the
Family
Family
Man.
Man.
Family
Yeah,
Man.
no. I'm
That's
thinking of a
even
different
more
one.
dramedy. That's a little less comedy.
Okay.
But if you're looking for, if you want another film, it's actually set at Thanksgiving instead of Christmas. But if you want another film that has like that similar kind of dinner scene where the family is just hilarious with each other, watch Home for the Holidays.
Okay.
I love Home for the Holidays. Yeah,
I
it's a
wrote it
good
down.
movie.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan of good movies. And
I
you
just
guys
beat
know
up, I
them.
just beat up Santa Claus. I just beat up Santa Claus. Dude,
Am I wrong? It's Thanksgiving.
The ref is so funny, but it's not really Dennis Leary. Like the funniest stuff, like the John,
Judy Davis
the police
and
lieutenant who's like,
oh,
when you were out of town, I fucked your wife, Bob.
Oh yeah, that guy.
oh, that was great.
Twice, Bob.
Yeah.
Twice. I don't think that's what he says, but it's very similar to that. Like
That was where I learned that you can dip fried chicken into peanut butter.
One of the cops comes up and says, "We found this mask. It has a weird smell. But Bob thinks it might be semen." And he looks through. He's like, "Bob needs to see somebody," or "Bob, you need some help."
I love it though. Like it starts off so ridiculously, and then it gets into character dynamics.
you're right.
But
It
I
starts
love
with,
the fact that at the very beginning, when he's trying to rob the safe,
dog. Yeah,
Right.
when he's trying to rob the safe, and then it's like, and then he gets sprayed in the face, and he's like, "Is that cat piss?"
I might have to agree with Finity on this one. His high mark, it might actually be Weird Science. Like he's so great in Weird Science. Or
Robert Downey Jr. is the only man in history is allowed to get away with blackface.
I like to think that his character from Weird Science went on to go to college and back to school because he's very same. He's very similar. Not the same name, but very similar. But good one, Finity. Good one. Yes.
I haven't seen Back to School in forever.
Weekend at Bernie's, Jaws, Dune, all Christmas movies in Australia. They should have made you know what they should have done with, I mean, me and Scotty love Weekend at Bernie's so much. But Weekend at Bernie's 2 is fairly terrible. I think I hate it more than you do. They should have changed it up and made it a Christmas movie. They should. How funny would it be if they put Bernie in like a Santa suit? And,
but this is
and like little kids. Little kids are sitting on his lap asking him what they want. He's dead.
And then they play that weird chant, and then he gets a boner, and the kids all, be funny.
What?
Okay, that wouldn't be fun. Oh, I found it.
Weinstein.
I'll be right back.
Yes.
All right, Tony. And when you get back, I want to hear more from you.
I'll be right back.
I'll be right back. Never, ever, ever say, I'll be right back. Okay, I think I found it. All right, let's see if we can punch this up, guys. I just love it so much. It's so funny. It's Kevin Spacey's delivery with just the dialogue. Fuck, it's so funny.
Was it from like Superman Returns?
Was he in that? Oh yeah,
he was Lex Luthor.
I know, I'm kidding. Let's see, where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay, let me know if you guys can see this. To share audio, share a tab instead. Okay. Oh wait, how do I do that? Oh, here it is. There it is. There's this.
We should get the intermission music from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Okay, let me know if you guys can hear this.
All right.
You know what, Mom?
Can you hear that? Okay, good.
You know what I'm going to get you next Christmas? A big wooden cross. So every time you feel unappreciated for all your sacrifices, you can climb on up and nail yourself to it.
My aunt went nuts. She loved that.
I'm leaving.
And John, that's what's her name from Oh God, what's her name?
Bed knobs and
From the
broomsticks.
Grinch. She
Well,
was in so much shit.
No, so you're talking about two different people. So the grandmother is
No,
from,
I'm not talking about
No,
the
I
grandmother.
know who you're talking about, Ben.
Yeah.
The grandmother is from, because he was saying bed knobs and broomsticks. Grandmother is from Mary Poppins. She's the mother in Mary Poppins.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then the daughter, or the person you were talking about, Christine Baranski.
That's it.
She's in all kinds of stuff, but she's in the Grinch movie. And
I was just watching
really?
a retrospective on the Grinch movie. That's why I thought, Christine Baranski. Yeah.
She's excellent.
She's kind of sexy, right?
Well, only in the
in like an aunt kind of way, if that makes any sense.
Well,
I take that back.
She played like a cosmopolitan drinking lady on a television show for a while. She developed
many shows. I'd want to say
many shows. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Should we get back to Violent Night at all, or?
Yeah. What else?
Does Santa win? Is the question I'm asking.
Oh, Santa wins.
Great.
But there is like
everybody.
Going back to what John was saying, like it is funny and it is more of a comedy, but there's some brutal shit in it too. And the most brutal thing, John, is I think when John Leguizamo goes up to like the front gate guy, and that guy's so likable.
Yeah.
He meets the kid at the beginning, so they establish that he's a sweetheart, and then he just blows his head off. You're like, oh shit, But the funniest kill to me is when Santa's fighting the guy down in like the basement man cave, and then he puts the Christmas light in his mouth and punches him or whatever.
Oh shit!
And then puts it in his eye.
In his eye. The way David Harbour plays that scene where he's like, oh, thank God. And then he turns and looks, and it just keeps manifesting. So the next thing you know, like the light bulb catches on fire, and he's like, he just keeps looking at him like very casually. And the next thing you know, his face, this dead guy's face.
Oh yeah, no. After he's killed him, he has a conversation on the walkie-talkie with the little girl.
While the face is burning,
just like sitting in the shot is the guy's burning face that continues to just smolder, and the light's like flickering. The star is like sparking and flickering in his head. That's the best kill of the movie. I mean, there are some good kills.
Oh, there's some great kills.
Lots of violence.
Well, the scene where you find out he doesn't have powers is when he's upstairs in that room, and for some reason there's a Christmas tree up there. I guess when you're a billionaire, you just put a Christmas tree in every room. I don't know. Yeah. But he's up there drinking and eating cookies, and then that guy comes in, and he already knows something's up. He's like, fuck, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. And then he has that fight, and that's when the machine gun starts shooting up the ceiling and stuff.
Which makes the reindeer leave.
Yeah, the reindeer leave. He's like, where the fuck are you going?
Scotty, just so you know, like I was having issues with this movie of like, especially in my initial watch of like, well, what's the reason why Santa's even going to be stuck in this situation? Like he, with all of his magic and stuff, he could leave. Clearly, if he's motivated to stay to rescue somebody, which is what is established in this movie, that makes sense. But yeah, his reindeer are scared off, and that's why he's stuck there.
We think they make him
very
scared.
That's what they kind of establish, in those first couple scenes that he's at the house.
Reindeers are pussies?
Well, that he's powerless. Like he
doesn't have.
That was the thing I was thinking. Well, Santa's going to solve too many situations. He's going to solve too many situations with magic. And he can't.
Built-in Santa magic, but not like strength. Yeah.
So what are his powers?
Santa magic is like his knowledge of who you are, and what you wanted.
You're nice. I get it.
Cool thing, John, is he has the naughty list, so he can tell where all the bad guys are. That was a really creative.
Oh, and then he has. Is it like the map in Harry Potter?
Oh yeah, it actually looks. It has a very cool, like, distinct look to it.
So he can lift that up and look at the naughty list and see the bad people in the compound. It was
that's rad. That's great.
Like Santa says it himself multiple times. Like someone says, "Oh yeah, really? How does that work?" And he says, "I don't know. Christmas magic. I don't understand it myself."
That's one of the best. Dude, John,
easy write-off to get beyond certain things, certain rules in the movie.
And also, like that's one of the best like regularly used lines in the movie. He goes, "I don't know how it works. I don't know how it
Christmas
works."
magic.
Yeah, and
Well,
then at the very
exactly.
end, when they're like, "How are you alive?" He goes, "I don't know. I don't know how this works."
I don't
Like,
know how this works, but the thing is that he is but a man. He is Saint Nicholas. He was
No.
born
He's
of a
not been
woman.
sainted yet.
No, his name is hilarious, dude.
Oh,
What is
what's
it,
his
John?
name?
He's
We
like, "My
couldn't
name
put
is
out-
Block Doc Lick
Yeah, he gives
Oh,
his,
he's a
like,
Viking, right?
his
He's a,
Viking name.
because he's a Viking." It's fucking
That's
great.
rad.
But Scotty, he specifically when he gets through all that, then he says, "Well, you might know me more as Saint Nick," and then he confirms. He's like, "Well, they haven't sainted me yet. There's these weird rules about it.
You're right.
I'm not an official saint yet."
And
Oh
David
man,
Harbour,
I gotta
David
watch this
Harbour
movie.
is
It's very
just-
funny. It's very funny.
David Harbour is just fucking perfect.
He is so good in this role. So
Yeah,
Ben,
yeah.
I was thinking if we didn't do this show, like when I was trying to come up with ideas, I was like, oh, what if we do like who's our favorite person who's played Santa? Because you guys were talking about how much you loved Kurt Russell, and I actually watched that movie because of you guys talking about it 2 days ago. I liked it. It was entertaining. He's great. But I was like, oh, we should maybe talk about who are our favorite people to play Santa. And I'm like, dude, this might be one. This might be it. Like, I really freaking love David Harbour in this role. He is so good. Like, it's not your traditional, like, it's not your every Santa. There are things that are way different from this Santa than others, but I really love the performance, and it's very believable. Like at the state that he's in at the beginning of the movie, he's not just bad Santa. He's not just Billy Bob, sitting at the bar being a downer.
He's actual Santa.
But he has his reasons to be the way that he is. The why he's not a cheerful Santa when you meet him, and why he's not a cheerful.
You get a lot
Santa
of backstory to that. Like,
the backstory works really well.
He thinks Mrs. Claus doesn't love him anymore. It's great. It's great.
But it's all done with just a few lines and a lot of looks. A lot of his performance.
Yeah,
there really is a lot going on in his performance.
And his facial expressions, man, the way he emoted in this film was really
yeah. And like the first 30 minutes where he's going through the houses and he's got to put in the cash in the stockings. He's like, fuck this, and like, And then, but when he gets a good batch of cookies, he's like, he gets really happy when he gets a good cookie.
And when he's able to connect with the little girl in the movie, he really does find, the Santa that you expect, like the way he treats her and the way he talks to her. He embodies the Santa we expect. But so much of the movie, he's getting his ass kicked and having to become a Viking again that, it's not the Santa you expect, but it's a really cool performance.
By the end of the movie, you realize
it's not the Santa you need.
By the end of the movie, you realize
you deserve.
She's the spark that he needed. He needed someone like her that believes no matter what, and they kind of bring that through. But Tony, I want to know, give me some more thoughts on this movie. Like,
the way he treated the role of being Santa Claus, he was getting burnt out. Like that was the vibe that I got from it. It's like he's getting burnt out on the job of being Santa Claus, and the little girl was his primary motivator to activate a spark that had long since died, because he's been doing this for a couple hundred years now.
Where's the Mrs. Claus?
Yeah.
Well, he talks about her.
Yeah, he talks about it.
But do we ever see her in the movie?
No.
I think,
but there's these great lines where he's like, she's like, do you still love her? Yeah, I still love her, but he doesn't think she loves him. It's great. It's these little.
But yeah, just
details.
it's a good film and I love it. Like I can't just pick one part because you guys have basically talked about the whole thing. So
and
I was wondering if you were going to do it in Santa voice.
No, that's one that see. David Harbour's voice is hard to nail.
It is,
and I don't try to whack at an impression unless I've practiced it. I don't.
Can you do a John Leguizamo voice?
Watch that Hellboy movie. And if you want a John Leguizamo, watch Spawn.
Now, if you want John Leguizamo, I mean, I could probably go with something like "I like to cruise in Queens." No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I put you on the spot. My bad.
The test.
So I'm going to share this real quick because we found it, John, or I found it, and I can't wait to show it. This is when you get to see the backstory of this version of Santa Claus. It's so fucking great. It's one of the best parts of the movie, man.
Yeah, you could say that. I was a warrior, a raider, a thief. So many got in my way.
This is from the movie?
This is from the movie.
Holy crap.
There's his hammer.
I'll crush it.
I didn't know he had a hammer.
My hammer. My favorite hammer. The surgeon.
I don't like David
I'm just
Harbour.
gonna pause it for a quick second so I don't get completely.
I don't like David Harbour at all.
Okay, well, all right. But it's so wait, hang on, wait until she goes like, guys, what's your name? And he's like, don't lock sneak or whatever.
You know, I'm probably gonna watch Fred Claus first because Paul Giamatti is Santa.
He is a good Santa in that movie, but
be able to take 3 heads and line them up. What?
Also, Kevin Spacey's in Fred Claus.
Because I was mean. I was greedy.
Shut up, Harbour.
Well, cold. And if there was a naughtiness back then, I'd be tough.
Oh, lovely fleeing.
Well, maybe.
I forgot how long this goes on for.
Well to bullets.
It's like a 10-minute long exchange.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah.
But it works really well in the movie. You know, you do need ebbs and flows of the action. There are some moments that slow down a bit in this movie, but
yeah, there's
really
definitely
into his character.
Well, it's
I
an
don't
application. That's good pacing.
James.
Hey, what up?
The
Hey,
slower
kiddo.
moments that focus on David Harbour, I'm totally cool with, and they're not really slower moments.
Again,
but
those are the harken back to the first Die Hard where they're on the thing
Yeah,
talking.
totally.
Yeah.
There's some stuff with like the family where they focus on the family that slows the pace down. That's the stuff that I'm less interested in, but you still need all those characters.
So David Harbour is Santa. He's the main character of the film. What would you recommend to a person who doesn't like David Harbour?
Well, he's great.
Great kills.
Great kills.
Yeah. The ending, what happens to John Leguizamo's character is
what?
Freaking great.
What happens to him?
I'm not going to spoil that.
No, I'm not gonna
all right, that's fair. That's fair.
James is there. I don't want to say, but it's a great. Think of it. The only thing I'll say, Santa Claus goes down the chimney.
Don't say
Don't say
Claus goes down the
anything.
chimney. That's
Shut
it.
up. This is a thing. Just fucking plant a flag and say,
John's
beyond this point, we go no further.
John has what you call spoiler phobia. Spoiler
Yeah,
phobia.
no, and I respect it.
No, I respect it too.
When I know something's good, I want people to be able to enjoy it the way they're meant to.
I just
And I dig your vibe, yo.
He asked me a question like, "What's another good thing?" And that feels good.
But
you know?
it, to be honest, it doesn't exist in any other movie. You couldn't. I don't think you would be guessing it if you're just going to start making guesses. So since it's something so original, just let it be what it is and watch it.
Yeah.
Instead of having
the thing is that I asked.
I'm having this.
If it was like a simple thing, like the reindeer comes up and skewers him at the end, like
did
like
Grandma get run over by a reindeer?
But it's something that exists only in this movie, and I think you should experience it in this movie.
But I have this weird feeling, as much as we're selling this movie to Scotty, for a second there, he goes, "I don't like David Harbour," so I'm like, well, maybe he's not going to watch this.
Yeah, no, he may not because it is.
Well, no, it depends.
David Harbour for sure.
I liked him in Quantum of Solace. I've seen him in different movies. I'm irrationally angry that he was in a bad Hellboy movie, and
he's great in The Equalizer. Small part, but he's good in it.
What, like? With
He's
no,
he's
you know what?
cop
I've
in the
never
first
seen the
Equalizer.
Denzel Washington Equalizers. Never.
Oh, so see, I never saw that Neil Marshall Hellboy movie. I heard it was awful, so I never watched it. But
Right, me well, and I watched part of it, and yeah.
What up,
Oh, sorry,
James?
I'm not muted. Sorry.
No,
No,
but
that's
you are
great.
making
I
rhythms.
love it, man. I love it. I loved it that James didn't want to leave my house the other day. He's like, "We're not going anywhere." Like that was great. That was so sweet. You liked it at my house, James? You have fun? I mean, we don't even have any toys. I don't know why you liked it so much.
Do you like seeing Cookie the cat?
He didn't even see the
Or
cat.
Princess?
Oh, well, the cat scared him.
Oh,
Finity says, "Oh, well, we won't read that out loud."
Why not? Spacey is always playing a psychosexual creepster. Such range. I don't know. I liked LA Confidential. I thought he was a great Lex Luthor. I liked him in
I thought
Ross.
I thought he was good as Lex Luthor in the acting, but I didn't like the way they wrote him. There was something weird about it.
They wrote him into being like the Joker, man.
No, not at all. Sorry to just absolutely fucking stuff that. But no.
He's all on
They wrote him like Gene Hackman.
Gene
Gene
Hackman
Hackman was funnier. Like that's the thing.
Gene Hackman was funnier.
Yeah,
no, but it was
Kevin Spacey to have that kind of charm, and he was just kind of like mean spirited, and yeah.
It was, but they also it was a weird first foot forward. Anyway, I liked him.
Parker Posey was great as Miss Tessmacher, though. Yeah.
She was not Miss Tessmacher, though.
I know, but she was.
She was. Yes. Okay. I don't know why I was fighting, but that's not her character name. So, technically, you're right, and so am I. But yeah, no, Kevin Spacey. Cheers, Merry Christmas. I'm sure that there's going to be a Frank Underwood or Underhill. What the fuck is his name in the
Frank Underwood. Frank Underwood.
Frank Underwood, like the typewriter. Okay.
Nice, John.
ask me why I'm wearing it.
Because you're a cock.
Oh, good one. Good one.
Well, no one asked me, so.
Why are you wearing it, sir?
Because.
Oh God, dad joke.
Totally worth it. Totally worth it.
My son laughed.
Yeah, well, as did I. Anyway.
I laughed as my skin crawled. I'm kidding, John.
I say the fast ones
No,
go
my
over
skin's
your
crawling
head.
as well. Don't worry about it.
John, I think I found the scene that's gonna make Scotty want to see this movie. Okay, so you're right. It's a star. It's a Christmas tree like star that he puts in his head. It's so good. All right, so let's watch this from Violent Night. At this point, I'm not gonna get monetized anyway, so I don't fucking care.
But you should probably tip.
Oh yeah, well, dude, before you got on, we got a super chat tonight.
Fucking hey, yo.
Yeah, dude, we got a fucking super chat.
Super Fabu.
A new person. He was on for a long time. You know what? I could tell, John, that he really liked Long Kiss Goodnight because as soon as we moved over to Violent Night, he was gone. But he gave us money.
Well, that's also when I showed up, so maybe my fault.
Maybe. Who knows? All right, so this scene, I'll probably flip through it a little bit until we get to the end, but it's a good fight.
Yeah, it's a great fight.
And this obviously gives you that, what was John was saying, where Santa doesn't really have powers, but
No, he's resourceful, which is
he's
the best
very,
kind of hero.
dude, it's cool.
That's
He pulls
the Viking
it out of his
mentality,
sack
though.
and
Anything's a weapon.
This is the Die Hard scene, right? Where he throws the Die Hard DVD.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah, he might be
It
right
throws
there.
Die Hard DVD at him, yeah.
Like a Cenobite?
And the music.
Don't dance,
Yeah, it's great.
Why would you throw away?
Look, he doesn't know how to shoot the gun.
Yeah, he's like, well, fuck.
I really love that he didn't immediately like know how to fight.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Well, it's
Or
been a
did
minute
he-
since he's had to. I mean,
Yeah.
you know,
That's
Or be
another
on the
thing.
battlefield.
Well, he
That's
even
another
says
thing,
right
like,
here,
the fight-
he starts
the
saying,
fight
I don't want to have to kill you. He doesn't say I don't want to have to beat you up or stop you.
The
He's
fight choreography
as he's
is
getting
so
up
good.
right now,
Have
he's
to kill you.
realizing this is a fight to the death, and I'm a Viking, so I'm gonna win this fight. And so he gets up and he's like, I don't want to have to kill you, buddy.
But also, there is an assumption that he has some sort of magic healing or some sort of
Maybe, but he does end
resilience.
up he bleeds a lot in this movie, and he has to patch himself up throughout the movie.
Yeah.
I
Well,
love it.
he's
I love it. He's putting pool balls in a fucking
Yeah.
stocking.
He's about
Oh,
ready
yeah.
to like,
Sometimes
knock his
I take-
fucking block off.
I take shit like that to the library. Oh, nice. Yeah, hit the hand.
Right here, he's trying to get over. He's trying to be in action, like move quickly, but
Yeah,
he
he's
can't.
trying to be like all like with the finesse of
Oof.
martial
Oh,
arts.
no, and the sock broke. I've had that happen.
By the way, I want this man cave, man. There's so many cool video games and
Yeah,
pool tables down there. Holy shit.
this place was a dope man cave.
I want pinball machines.
And the machine's just racking up points.
Oh, this is good right here. He flings the dartboard
Yeah. Yeah, the
Yeah.
dartboard. Yeah.
in a way where he knows he's just flinging out the darts. See, he
Yeah.
flings the darts out of the board.
Oh, cool.
Like that's that kinetic kind of like think on your toes, pick an item up, and use it in a really resourceful
Oh,
way.
nice.
The best
Yeah.
fucking action is
Oh.
done that way.
Huh.
No,
Well,
yeah.
I wrote it. Yeah, I wrote it fucking down.
This
It's
movie does a
great.
good job of that.
Yeah, the choreography in this movie is awesome.
Yeah.
It's visceral and you know, it's not like a bunch of like high intensity kung fu fighting. It's gritty. It's the kind of fighting like in the scene from They Live with Roddy Piper, you know, where it's just like, you know, haymaker after haymaker after haymaker.
Well, and some of these fights are almost as long as the ones. on-
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. I
But you
want to
know-
watch this with a double bill of Fat Man.
I've heard that's good. Yeah.
I heard it was as well.
Batman's
But-
pretty good.
But yeah, this one, like, you gotta want. Well, it's probably not David Harbour, but it's probably
Oh, it'll be fine. No, you know what? The thing is that if David Harbour presents himself as Santa in a way that I find appealing, I will come out of this movie being like, why were you mad at David Harbour?
But you know what? To John's point earlier, though, like this scene, if you didn't have Donde de Santa Claus playing, it would have been like a really like serious action scene. You know, like it's,
Yeah.
I mean, except for him like kind of rolling over the pool table because he's like jolly and fat. It's like Tony said, it's visceral. It's like you feel the punches, you know.
You can hear the
But
bones
because they
break,
have the song
teeth
over it.
falling out. Yeah.
Yeah, and because they have the song over it, it makes it gives it that comedy. But if it was, say the scene was done in silence or like with like a Michael Kamen score, it would feel different, with the exception of him rolling over the pool table.
Well, you've done re-edits before.
Oh, here it is.
The DVD.
No, he gets cut right there. That
Oh yeah.
What is that?
Oh, I love that. That is Santa's sack goes like all the way back to the North Pole or something, right? So like when you put your
It's got
hand
a portal
in
in it. Yeah.
yeah, it's got it's a portal. Yeah. Unfortunately,
Portable hole.
they didn't utilize that as well as I wanted.
It's not a bag of holding like in most, you know, Santa lores. This one's got a unique spin on it.
Yeah, there's no presence in it. You have to like reach down or whatever. Yeah.
So how does he get through chimneys?
he has his powers.
Like he touches his nose and
yeah,
just like
typical-
scoops,
He can, you know, he teleports through chimneys and, you know.
and then he's got a sack that is a portable hole.
I love
Okay.
how he's just grabbing ornaments and busting them over his head.
Yeah, it's just
This guy, out of all the bad guys in this movie, reminds me the most of like one of the villains from Die Hard 2. Just like he's like, "Yeah, I'm gonna kill you," you know. You got to put an ice pick.
Well, yeah, because to be honest, after he gets stabbed in the eye, he still keeps coming.
Yeah, he keeps coming even after getting hit. Dude, this guy got fucking 3 or 4 pool balls stuffed in a stocking like over his head, and he's still,
Yeah, he hit him
Coming
on the
pool
chrome dome,
balls.
man.
these guys are probably all the henchmen are on coke. You know they are. They're all on coke.
Definitely Krampus.
Yeah. Oh, dude, for sure.
There it is, Christmas Storm. Yeah, me too.
But he keeps coming.
At this point, he's berserked out, man. I mean, he's got a freaking thing in his eye.
How do you
Starfish.
how do you continue to move forward when
Adrenaline.
one of your eyes is gone for the rest of your life? You can't see out of it. It's probably painful. It's got to be.
Yeah.
coke.
Oh, you know,
It just happened. It's shock.
he's insane at this point, and he's pumped on adrenaline. There you go.
Well, he shouldn't have. Oh, it's not a starfish. It was
Oh,
on
this
top of
is,
the
so,
tree. Okay.
this is just the best scene in the movie.
Hey, while this finishes, I wanted to mention something that I didn't totally make sense to me. They specifically show a clock when he arrives at the house,
Yes.
or shortly after, or it's in a scene shortly before or after he gets to the house. It's only 10:38. 10:38 is pretty early for Santa to be showing up at people's homes. If supposedly they're all supposed to be asleep and not see him. And it only works in this one. Like there's an entire house full of people awake. Like Santa, supposedly, who does this for millennia, knows, when he should enter a house and shouldn't because there's people there. So he goes in and he only goes into certain rooms upstairs where no one's at, and he's delivering presents there. Like, fine, I guess if that's how it's supposed to work. But like that whole setup of him showing up at 10:30 so we can have an entire rest of a movie, like if it's 4 a.m, that wouldn't make sense. Like, why is everyone still awake or whatever?
Right.
So
Well, that whole
I know why it happens when it happens, but it doesn't work for me at all. Like Santa would not be traveling the world and dropping off presents at people's homes at 10 o'clock at night.
Yes.
Doesn't work. Just
Yes,
doesn't
it
work.
does.
That entire scene.
Well,
John,
first things
where,
first.
like,
First things first. He knows when you are sleeping, and
Oh,
he knows
my.
when you're awake.
Oh yeah.
And everyone's awake at this house.
But
So why
everyone's
is he
awake,
there?
yeah.
Well,
But John,
10:30.
that is-
I don't know. Maybe they're
that entire-
Catholic or something.
That entire scene, John, though, where like the family's having like that drink party, and they, that's where all the bad guys are posing as like bartenders and all that stuff. Like, what time is that supposed to be happening at? And like, there's no Christmas dinner. They never sit down and have like a Christmas dinner. It's all just in that big ballroom.
Yeah, the
Right?
timing of it all doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. But you know what? Until you said it, it didn't really bother me.
No,
Like,
it doesn't bother me, even though I know it. It's
Thanks
just
for
like,
ruining it, John.
the fact that they show the clock made me go, wait a minute. Why would he be showing up to anyone's home that early?
Well,
Like,
especially like what is this tree upstairs? Isn't there a tree downstairs by the fire? Why is
well,
it-
and they show that they machine gun it. So, and their presents are around it. That's my point, is that's the main tree of the house where they actually put their presents. Santa is aware of what tree is your present tree, and that's the tree he would have gone to. So he wouldn't even be at this house.
I think to Tony's point, though, he's like tired and fed up. So he goes up to that one thing where he's like, okay, this is a rich family. This is probably like the kids' room. We'll drop this shit off. Because remember, he sits down in a chair. He takes the milk and like pours it out, and then like pours whiskey straight into the milk glass.
Yep.
Yeah, he spends a lot of time there. That's another thing that's like, they show him move quickly through these other places because he doesn't want to spend time. He wants to move on. And I guess they do kind of establish, oh, these guys got good cookies. Oh, these guys got good brandy.
Booze.
or
Well, no,
whiskey.
but he
They got
loved
good
that booze
So,
shelf. Yeah.
They did establish that he wanted to hang out for a bit because he liked what they had to offer.
Yeah, he wanted to take a breather.
But
Yeah.
it was still like, okay, like if he's got this schedule that we know he keeps, like,
Yeah, they could.
that part was less egregious, him hanging out, as why did you establish he's delivering presents in this particular giant mansion, all lit up, million people clearly awake at 10:30 at night? That doesn't.
They could have made that a little tighter too. Like yeah, the way that he kind of just sits in there and he's just, I do like it that he's like, oh, he goes when he sees the booze, he's like, they got some good booze, so he wants to get fucked up. And the cookies, he likes the cookies. But you're right, it wasn't edited very tight to where like, it could have been tighter where as soon as he gets there, all this shit goes on or whatever. Like he could have just shown up, gone upstairs, like, oh, people are still awake downstairs, so I'm gonna put some presents here, and then the machine guns go off. But instead, he kind of does hang out for quite a while, and I guess you attribute that to he needs a break. I don't know. Well, let's watch the end of this. Let's see how that. Oh shit! I don't think we're gonna.
He does try to escape before any shit hits the fan, and his magic fails him.
Yeah.
And he can't get out of the room quick enough. And then once the
reindeer take off too.
Well, then once he's in his first fight, the reindeer gets scared away. It accumulates of why he's stuck there. But initially, he takes too long. Then when he does try to get away, his magic fails him.
Yeah, and when people say this is a Die Hard ripoff, I always want to say, where was John McClane's reindeer? Huh? He didn't have any reindeer.
Her name was Holly.
They were getting Twinkie.
Oh shit! Oh, we don't get to see the. Damn it!
Ken Leone.
That's a bummer. I wanted to see the whole scene where the guy's face burned up, but you get the point.
Yeah, it pretty much becomes crispy.
It's so funny that he's just sitting there and he's talking on the CB and he just keeps turning and looking at this guy's face getting more and more like burned.
Turning into crispy chicken.
It's a very funny movie. It's got great kills. I think David Harbour as Santa he just owns it. He never loses that focus. And yeah, there's moments that get a little slow. Maybe one too many times, John. He talks to the girl, like there's one scene where he does that, where he's injured and he's like sitting on the bed and he's talking to her, but then they do it again, and I get it because that's when she's telling him to channel who you really are. And that's when he goes and just fucking annihilate. The end of this movie goes just ape shit. Like he fucking, when he gets that sledgehammer, he feels like the Viking again. And I want to say he kills like 20 plus people.
That's what I want from a Christmas movie.
And he kills them in great ways where he does it. And that's the funny thing about this movie is like, he doesn't let people live, even though he's defeated them. He always has to finish them off. That scene where he throws the grenade and the guy's like, he's like, I don't think the grenade's going to go off. And then it just blows.
We needed to talk about the grenade scene in this movie because yes, it's super. Whatever reason, grenades in movies are done so unrealistically. This one also takes forever to go off.
Yeah,
and then he makes the line. He's like, "Oh, I need to watch." So he turns around and watches.
Yeah, he has to. But in this one,
it's a fireball instead of just
timing. In this one,
it's like the timer. That grenade had like a cook time of like 15 seconds.
But that's right, John. He goes, I have to watch. I have to watch,
which is good. It's a fun little moment.
No, but it's because he's no longer Santa in those moments. He's the fucking Viking,
He's back to his original form.
So we won't give the movie away, but the ending has like the family sort of coming together to help him, and like they realize what's going on. And there's some really fun crowd pleasing moments where some of the pussy family members, kind of like
Jean-Claude Van Dipshit.
But dude, that guy's so okay. We can give away the fact that like the sisters.
No, we don't have to give that away.
God
but
damn it.
But the nickname, I forget who calls him that. Jean-Claude Van Dipshit.
It's the son. It's the TikToker son. I think
he calls him that.
Oh no, it's Beverly D'Angelo.
Oh, does she? Okay, yeah.
And I've been trying to dig clips up of her in that movie, and I can't find them. But man, she is so funny in this movie. Like the second you see Beverly D'Angelo, you're like, oh, wonderful. And they're like, Grandma. And she's like, who the fuck? And she just starts cussing at everybody. Like, oh man, she still looks good in this movie too. I gotta say. I mean, I wouldn't throw it out of the sheets. Just saying,
You wouldn't kick her out of bed for having too much sap.
I would not. I would not. So Scotty will be back in a second. But we gotta let's see. Finity says the more unrealistic, the better. It's a movie, yo. Yeah, exactly. No, I agree.
For this one, yes. A movie about
yeah, it's a fun
Santa.
film.
Yeah. I foolishly want every movie to be like James Cameron's first 4 movies, dead serious. And they're not. Not every movie is that, but that's the approach I want every movie to take when I go to watch it.
That's funny because my favorite James Cameron movie is the one that has the most comedy in it.
True Lies?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
True
your
Lies.
favorite James Cameron movie?
Yeah, I told you that.
No, Aliens is your favorite James Cameron movie.
Oh shit. Sorry. When I did R-rated action, we left Aliens out. My second favorite James Cameron is Aliens is my second favorite movie ever made. Yeah, but,
Did you notice my background there? Somebody just threw up because that's the poster for Silent Night, Deadly Night, but they just put the title for Violent Night up there.
I like it.
Yeah. But they should have replaced the axe with a hammer, and then it would actually be very apt for the movie. But you know, if you're gonna get in there in Photoshop, do it all.
So Tony, you've seen Long Kiss Goodnight, right?
It's been a long time. I couldn't provide you a cohesive summary outside.
No, you don't have to provide a cohesive summary, but
Yeah.
out of these 2 movies, yeah.
Still have to go with Violent Night. I like Long Kiss Goodnight, but like I said, it's been so long, it's not as imposed into my memory as Violent Night. So based on the impact that it's done on me, I have to go with the latter here.
They both have a really fair amount of humor in them. Like they're clearly action comedies, but I think that they balance it really well. You know, some action comedies lean more more comedy, like a Rush Hour or something.
Right.
Some of them are a little bit more action heavy, but have humor. Basically, Die Hard, the original Die Hard.
Die Hard.
But these two both have a pretty good balance of both. They're totally kick-ass with their action, but they're really laugh out loud funny all the way through with their humor.
I agree.
Well, anything else? Anybody?
Sorry, I'm not more talkative. I'm tired.
Oh, no problem.
You know,
I got to conserve my energy for tomorrow. So
you know what they should have done instead of Beverly Hills Cop 3 that takes place at like a theme park? They should have made a movie called Beverly Hills Christmas Cop. Take place during Christmas. I would have watched
Beverly Hills Christmas Cop.
I thought you were going to say Beverly D'Angelo Christmas Cop.
Anybody else have anything left? I guess we've been going for almost. Hey, Cookie Cat, there's my cat. Almost 3 hours. So,
Jeez, I thought this was going to be like an hour-long show.
They never are live, dude. They never are. But I had a lot of fun, and I love both these movies. I hadn't seen Long Kiss Goodnight in a long time. I had a blast watching it last night. I probably, don't kill me, John, I'd probably prefer to like rewatch Violent Nights during Christmas every year. Like I just find it a movie I think I'm going to revisit every year. I just think there's something, I don't know, there's something about it.
Christmas centric. It's Christmas centric.
Yeah, and I guess it's unfair because one's actually like Santa Claus and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I do think Long Kiss Goodnight, one of Rennie Harlem's best movies for sure. Gina Davis was a beast, and I'm surprised she's not in the conversation more when they talk about like these badass female action stars, which I hate because I hate to marginalize all that stuff. I don't know why they do that anyway, but she's never really brought up, and she's a fucking badass in this movie.
Yeah, and they don't have to make a big deal about her being a woman.
No, and it should never be made a big deal.
Like many of the villain characters treat her like a man. At the moment they see her, they realize how dangerous she is. So they just sock her straight in the face. They are trying to kill her or knock her out as quickly as possible because They do not want to get, let her get the upper hand. They know what she's capable of.
Nobody treats her like, oh my God, it's a woman. Nobody does that. And she also doesn't beat the shit out of them in the same way that like nowadays movies would be, where like a 105-pound chick is just like clobbering all these dudes. Like she still gets punched and bloody, and it's more resourcefulness than like sheer strength.
Best heroes are resourceful.
Yep.
In my opinion.
That's why I love David Harbour's Santa. He's resourceful. He used the thing in the face. Anyway, well, let's close with a couple of these things.
What do you want? What are you doing? God damn it!
Nintendo Deer Hunter 3.
Give a shit what you want? See, Mrs. Santa caught me fucking her sister, and I'm out on my ass now.
I didn't know the Deer Hunter had sequels. Especially 2 of them.
Well, I guess we'll say good night. John, anything left you want to say? I think Scotty's out doing some other shit. So anything else? John's idea for us to come on tonight is great to talk about these 2 movies to end the year
very nicely.
Yeah, and this is gonna end.
That was another funny line that I caught last night when I was watching. When Santa moves on to drinking the good stuff from their liquor bar, he's like, "Oh, pairs up nicely with these cookies."
Yeah,
like, he's treating it like wine, but he's like, "Oh, pairs nicely with these cookies."
Well, remember, he's pouring whiskey into a glass that just has milk in it.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
He doesn't care. He's Santa Claus.
Great.
Yeah. But
no,
yeah,
I got nothing else to add. I'm glad everyone could come on. That Ben, you and I got to do something that we could call our Christmas special. Seems like a shame if a year goes by and we don't have some kind of Christmas show. This was a great one. These are 2 movies that if we were doing our little randomizer with our Christmas balls in the spinner, I would have been happy to pick these 2 movies anyway. So we were going to eventually get around to talking about these movies in some way, shape, or form. So this worked out perfectly.
And Tony, if you want to know what that is, that's when I pull out John's Christmas balls and he pulls out my Christmas balls.
I pull out your candy cane. Okay, what are you talking about, buddy?
And by the way, Tony, I love your avatar with.
I appreciate it.
It's great. It's great.
Yes.
Good AI creation there. But yeah, thanks everybody. This is our last show of 2024.
Well, can I show you something?
Ho, ho, ho!
Oh, yeah, Scotty, I thought you were gone. Sorry.
No, I was, but I'm back.
Okay, what do you want to show us?
I got a present in the mail today, and I am pretty sure it's going to make Tony mad.
Oh, is it a Blu-ray or?
No, it's better than a Blu-ray.
Oh my God,
my friend!
Oh my God, that looks heavy.
Is it your She-Hulk dildo?
No, not yet. And
Wait,
it's a fleshlight. It's a fleshlight.
That looks legit. Like that's heavy.
It's a Marvel Legends cap shield.
Wow. Oh my God, that's not as good as me and John.
I have one of those.
But me and John had the one we used for Infinity Space. That thing was a nice piece of plastic.
Oh my God, no! This is metal. It's got leather straps and
that
fucking
is bad.
Oh, so that's a commissioned one then.
Holy shit!
It is heavy. Oh my God! I don't know how he runs with this.
Is it actually?
Oh man, very cool. That looked like the Marvel Legends one. Wow,
that's amazing.
How heavy is
that? Is that pretty heavy? Do you think that's over?
No, it's got heft.
Does it say made in Wakanda? Is it vibranium?
No, it's not. It's not even adamantium. No, but this is it's not my She-Hulk dildo, which is actually
while you're holding it, hit the star. I want to feel the weight of this. Okay. Yeah,
smash it against your face. I want to see what kind of damage it does.
Hey, throw it at the DVD shelf and let's see
if you can frisbee. I want to see if you can frisbee toss it off of 3 walls.
I'm not that good. I just got it.
Frisbee toss it off of 3 walls, 2 guys, and the mirror.
I haven't read the
Bounce it off
instructions.
of 2 girls in 1 cup.
But yeah, no, that was a
Nothing but
Christmas.
net.
That was a Christmas present that I got today, and it
Yeah,
was
that's
from friend of the channel, Anti-Derivative Jill.
That is
Right on.
badass. You got it
It
from Jill?
is.
Oh shit. That is
So-
amazing. Yeah, I'm glad you showed that. Holy
Nice shield.
shit.
Nice shield.
I want to walk around town, but I feel like people.
No,
would
you,
look.
dude, you really should. You should have it strapped and just don't even make it a thing. Just
Well-
casually walk around with it
Scotty,
strapped.
wait till
Get
after
yourself
Christmas.
a back harness. Get yourself a back harness and just wear it on your back.
Wait till Boxing Day.
Yes.
Because I'm sending you some underoos, so that'll be perfect.
That'll be less creepy.
I'll send you the original helmet.
Just a
with
guy
the,
wandering around. With
I'll
a
send you a
shield
helmet
and
with the
underoos.
wings on the side from Matt,
Oh yeah,
Matt
no, but then
Salinger.
I'd have to do blackface. No, but that's it. No, it is. And I spent. I got this at about noon today, and I watched. I got it, and I had tears of joy. And I watched Captain America, The First Avengers, and Age of Ultron.
I like
Well,
Age
I'm
of
happy for
Ultron.
you. It's always good to get Marvel loot. Lord knows I got a lot of that stuff.
Dude, I know, right?
So, some of which that I've made, but that's a story for another show.
Huzzah. Anyway,
Well,
so that was my Christmas present today.
Yeah.
It was a Christmas miracle. I cried joyfully as I hugged a shield and watched Chris.
Dude, you out of everybody I know, just from YouTube and like people I care about that I've never been in the same room with, you and Jill need to meet.
No, her husband would hate it.
No bullshit. He's not gonna. No, you're just buddies. You know, you're just buddies.
No, I know. I joke.
But
No,
oh,
but
nice.
it is. It's
Oh,
so
I like
gracious.
John's
So
moved on to
gracious.
the Scrooge hat. The Scrooge hat. Spirit, where is Jacob Marley? Where is Jacob Marley? Anyway, Scotty, I'm glad you came back before we ended because that was a treat. That shield is badass. It's badass. I'm going to end the stream, but if we want to stay on, I'm not going anywhere. But again, I think most people are gone at this point. But for everybody that showed up in the chat and that wonderful super chat we got, thank you. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Festivus. And happy Kwanzaa. From Cinema Gulp.
Drink your cinema. Ho, ho, ho.
Is that cat piss?